StreamYard right now.
All right.
Yep. There's no way we're avoiding a copyright strike this week. There's no way.
A strike and a release.
Yeah, that's right.
We got to go for both.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be within 30 minutes. We'll get the strike and then it'll get rescinded, just like it always does.
Exactly.
Like Facebook. It's like Facebook's got nothing better to do than just,
Right. Yeah, which is crazy is because like you figure YouTube would do it, but no, it's just freaking Facebook. It's like
No, yeah, you would figure with as fucking stringent as YouTube is, but no, it's never them. It's always Facebook.
yeah. Well, welcome to the show, everyone, and I will tell you straight up that me and Chris did not plan on wearing the same shirt today because we did not know we bought these shirts last night at the show because he actually got up front and personal, and I was kind of in the back.
Yep.
I was telling him I spent 4 days with hundreds of thousands of people, and I kind of wanted to be in a corner at this point. But I feel like after the shit show it was for Blue Ridge, I probably should be in a corner rocking back and forth at this point. But anyway, so it is what it is. I still had a good time, but it's still upsetting that you don't get to see, like some of the bands that you went to see. So
right.
And I'll probably just go through this whole thing because, like, I know we had issues last week and stuff, and I'm not sure what got on here and what didn't. So I'll kind of like recap the whole thing, and then we can talk about the show last night as well. So to kick off, but yeah. So welcome everybody. This of course is Metalheads Unite, and thank you guys for stopping in with us this morning or evening or wherever you are.
Yeah.
I know I say that all the time, then I automatically think, oh, well, the Face and them are in the afternoon, so
yeah.
So
it's evening over there in Europe right now.
Yeah. So anyway, so wherever you are, welcome. Let's say I spent Thursday through Sunday at Blue Ridge Rock Festival last week, and of course Thursday was so Thursday was expected. I think we went into that expecting to not be at the show for a couple of hours because we had to you got to go to will call and you got to get parking passes and you got to do all the stuff to make sure you're good to go and everything. So we knew it was going to be a little bit delayed getting in that day, but yeah. So like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Sunday was a better day out of all of them. I don't know if it's because a lot of people probably just had 3-day passes because they had to work Monday. I'm not sure, but Sunday was a little better. Hey, good morning, Myrna.
Good morning, Myrna.
But yeah, so Friday came and like where they have it set up now, it's about 9 miles from the venue. Whichever they had 2 different parking lots, and whichever parking lot you were in, it was still 9 miles from the venue, regardless. So walking was kind of out of the question unless you plan on hiking it for an hour and a half. But but I think that's why they did that, was because they was trying to kill a lot of the walking this year, because a lot of people were just walking last year because they got tired of waiting. But I think the city kind of came down on them and found them with some stuff last year because of that. I'm not sure, but that was the rumor. I'm not from there, so I don't know. But some of the people that lived there were telling me that, so I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. But anyway, so Friday came. We're still in a shuttle bus line for 3 hours plus, which ridiculous. And Saturday, same thing. So Sunday came along. We were kind of from the time we got to park and then to the venue, it was like an hour and 10 minutes, which that's reasonable. Like I could have dealt with that all week if that was the case, because we were there. If I show up, we were showing up at like 2 hours before opening, before the doors open, or
Mm.
2.5 hours before the first band we wanted to see went on. So if that's the case, then you should be able to get from point A to point B if it's 9 miles in plenty of time to see whatever band you came to see. And I think that was a lot of the issue with a lot of people, not just me. I mean, there was a lot of people bitching about they didn't get to see the bands they wanted to see. And the thing is like, we went in with the intention of seeing a lot of these bands that were earlier on because, I mean, we've seen a lot of the headliners before.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, that was, we weren't going to leave. I mean, we were going to watch those again too, but it was just the thing that a lot of the bands we haven't seen before were on earlier. So, and that was the kind of the disappointment was not being able to check out as many of those as we wanted to. So, um, and then like I said, I usually try to check out a lot of the local, well, not local, but the less known stage. They kind of got some less known bands on some of those stages. So, I always wanted to, I always try to check some of that out too, which didn't really happen as much as I'd like to. So, but other than that, I think it was, I mean, it was okay. I mean, it rained a little bit. Um, let's see, was it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday it rained pretty good. Um, Friday and Saturday, I think was pretty rainy. But Saturday was really cool because like Nonpoint was on stage and it started raining right at the start of their set. And and Elias had to actually was just like, everybody say this with me now, rain, go the fuck away. It's like doing. So we did that, and he's like, you got to do it 3 times or it don't work. And when we did it 3 times, then like I swear to God, like 15, 20 minutes later, the rain stopped. I was like, okay, this is kind of creepy, but but it was pretty funny, yeah. So and which kind of like was crazy because they had to open. I thought they was going to open them up to sing "Miracle," and they never sang that song. So it's kind of like, which like I said that and I think that with Nonpoint, he never disappoints because, like I said, I don't think I've ever seen them where they play the same set list every time. So, and actually, they played a song called "Tribute" from their first album, which was I was like, holy shit! Like I've never heard that live as many times as I've seen them. So,
That's
so it was
always
pretty
nice.
cool. Yeah, so it was pretty cool to hear something older that. And of course, I've never heard Paper Tigers live because they just came out that Friday. Uh, so it was cool to hear that live as well. So yeah, so it was like it was new, and so. But to me, I still think like Nothing More was one of the better sounding bands there, and like I mean, their dude is so hyped up the whole time. It's like so crazy, but yeah, they were really really good, and Mushroom Head sounded really really good live too. So which was surprising as many changes that they've had. So it was kind of
Yeah.
crazy for them to sound that good. They sounded really really good. So and of course Hatebreed sounded really well too. I think that was a pretty good show too. So and that was one of the bands I had never seen. So I got to see Hatebreed. So that was pretty cool. Um, but they had this like another thing that like I don't know if I know you probably seen some of the stuff where I've shared or posted, but they had this
Mhm.
hill. They had this hill that man, it was so fucking steep, dude. I felt like I was climbing a mountain every time I went up it from one set of stages to the other, which and I have no idea how they got handicapped back and forth, or if they even offered a way to get them back and forth other than that. So, if not, then shame on them. That's ridiculous because there's
Uh-huh.
no way in hell people should be pushing a wheelchair up and down that hill. But it got so bad, like I think it was like not even the second day, you had like a whole crowd of people chanting "fuck that hill" all the way up. So it was like a big thing all weekend. Everybody would just chant that shit all the way up it. Um, so it
Yeah,
was kind of
one of my hockey buddies actually went to the festival too,
oh
and
yeah,
I saw a post from him this morning where he took a picture of the hill, and then I guess there were shirts made that said "I survived Hell Hill."
yeah, Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Hill. We called
yeah.
it Kate Bush Hill because it was,
No, well, yeah.
that song
Running
running
up
up
that
the hill.
hill. Right.
You almost had to run up it to not feel any of the burn from it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was like it was so bad because it really kind of deterred me from making because I try to plan out stuff to make as less trips as possible up and down that thing. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, but but yeah, so definitely got my exercise, that's for sure. uh, But yeah, like I said, hopefully they figure everything out for next year. I know it's supposed to be in the same spot from what I said. You kind of realized it was bad whenever the very first night, toward the end of the night, it was before. I think it was right before. Trying to remember who went on before Ghost. It was on their set, and it put out. They put out a thing on the screen. It said, get your 4-day passes now for $175. So I mean, they're cutting it, you know, over half just to
Mm-hmm.
try to get people to come back already.
Yeah.
So if that lets you know how mad and upset people were. I mean, I think you have people. I met people in line from Texas, from Connecticut, from New York. I mean, these people drove a long way just to stand in a fucking line for 3 and 4 hours. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, we had this issue last year, and of course, they suckered me in this year with being new management. So I thought, well, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe he'll have it figured out, but no, I mean, it's just, people can say what they want to about Danny Wimmer. People might not like him or whatever, but I will say this: he's pretty organized. So as
Yeah.
far as any of the ones I've been to,
Well, he's been doing it for a while too. So
yeah. So
he's probably got his network in place to where
right. Well,
whoever he needs, I'm sure he's
well, the
got it
bad,
all figured out.
the bad thing is I'm pretty sure they all communicate with each other because
Well,
I
you would
remember.
think they would.
Yeah, because I remember Danny, and he was actually in the Exit 111 Facebook page and talking to them, and they were talking shit to each other, just bullshitting because they're actually friends because I guess Danny, of course the Exit 111 is put on by the same people that do Bonnaroo, so
Mm-hmm.
they've been doing it a while as well, so.
Right.
And of course they were planning on doing that one again too, and then COVID hit. So I'm not really sure what the plans are with that one, which that would be cool because that's kind of local for us, so I wouldn't have to go too far. But
Yeah, it'd be like an hour and a half drive at most.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's not far at all. And it's just straight shot down I-24, literally
yep,
to exit 111. I mean, obviously the name
yep.
of the festival, but yeah, it's not a bad drive at all.
Yeah. So
For us from here, yeah.
right. But like I said, if you're local to Blue Ridge, I mean, you can't pass up a deal like that, $175, and you're local, and you can go back and forth from, you don't have to rent a hotel or nothing, just go home, and I mean, that makes a big difference. So
Yeah.
you're not staying 50 minutes away at a hotel like most of us were doing. So
Yeah. And say what you want, because I mean you've been and I haven't, but say what you want about like all the logistical issues, but all that shit aside, I mean for $175, the amount of bands that they do
right,
get to come out there, and whether you're talking about the headliners they get for every day, and all the way down to the bands on the side stages, I mean you'd have a really hard time,
mm-hmm.
bang for your buck, quote unquote. You'd have a hard time beating that $175 for 4 days, because you break down the math, you're talking less than $50 a day.
Yeah, and it's like $1 a band, pretty much. Because I mean, that's about
Almost.
that's about how many bands were there. It was this year it was 175 that was there this year. So
Yeah. So I mean, you'd have a hard time finding a better deal, really.
yeah, definitely
But
can't see many bands for $1 a band. But
no. Well, hell, I mean, you and I have talked about, not to jump too far ahead, but you and I have talked about, the fucking show we went to see last night.
right.
You got Testament, Exodus, and Death Angel, and the tickets are $30 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about $10 a band for, to literally go see thrash legends. And
Right.
I even told my daughter that last night, because like I said, Rob Cavastani was standing right in front of us. And then when Testament got up there, Alex Skolnick was literally 5 fucking feet away. If that, there was nothing between us but air and opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and it's like I told my daughter, I was like, these are fucking legendary guitar players right here. Gary Holt never made it all the way down to our end of the stage, but I still got some pretty decent pictures from probably about 10 feet away. But I mean, you don't get to see quality musicians for $10 anymore, really, like anywhere. So
the only thing that would have made that better, no disrespect to the drummer for Testament at all, but Dave Lombardo wasn't there, so
yeah, that was that thing. Well, and the funny thing was I was enjoying the entire show, but I mean, every now and then when like Alex would walk away and come, during one of his solos, he would walk away, because they had those 3 little platforms in front. He would walk to the center one to play with Eric Peterson. And then I would when he was off doing that, I kind of took a look up at the drum, at the drum riser there to kind of watch him play. And dude was doing a hell of a job. I will say that I think he lost tempo once.
Yeah.
I think he lost tempo once. But I mean, the guy got in the band, and I mean, he was basically, as far as I know, was like asked last minute to come in and play.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm taking absolutely nothing away from this guy at all. No. He did an amazing job.
He only messed up once. That's still good. So,
yeah. Well, hell.
I mean, Chuck messed up a couple of times.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was just about to say, Chuck Billy missed his cue at the fucking start of Over the Wall. They had to restart the song.
It was so funny. He was like, "I know what I'm doing." He started laughing.
It was fucking hilarious, man. Dude, I was dying.
They were looking at him like, "No, you don't." Obviously,
yeah. It was so funny. But that just goes to show you. I mean, we've talked. I don't know how many times we've talked about how we do the show live and we get tongue tied or. Shit happens, technical difficulties. How long has Chuck Billy been doing this? I mean, you're talking, 35, 40 years, and he fucking missed his cue. I mean, it fucking happens.
It happens anyway.
Yeah, it happens. And then, he got the set list mixed up, and they had to switch songs because he wanted to sing Native Blood, and it wasn't Native Blood's turn on the list. He said, "Fuck it, we're going to sing it now anyway." So, it just, in all honesty, as far as I'm concerned, when shit happens like that, little stuff like that happens, it basically enhances the experience.
It does
for me. I think it really does.
We've talked about that too about our show. Is like we like the authenticity of of that part of the show. So
yeah,
and it's just like when we bring bands on, we don't, people say, "Oh, well, do you edit?" Like, no, we don't want to edit anything out from band. I mean, we want the bands to feel like they can be themselves on here and put their product out there for everybody to listen to. So, so I mean, like I said, to each his own, I guess. But I like the authenticity of
me too,
of stuff like that. So
missing
cues or starting out playing wrong songs or something. It's like, because I mean, so this is the thing is like, so if you go to a show and like if we sing the bass tracks back 50 times,
which I would go 50 times in a
but we're probably going to remember that over anything else that we probably would see because we're going to. It was out of the ordinary. It's going to stick with the out of the ordinary still kind of sticks with you. So like I said, I could talk. We could talk about stuff all day long, and we're going to talk about the stuff that messed up. Because that's But the thing is, back when I was wrestling, they used to say, whether they're talking good or bad about you, they're talking. So it's kind of like when we have situation where we every once in a while you do these shows and you'll have a troll on here. Well, little does he know is he's just enhancing your product because he's giving you clicks and comments
and everything else.
Yeah, so whatever. But so it's like like I said, I just like the natural part of being live. So Plus we don't have 5 hours to go and edit anything. So
I mean, and truth be told, that was like really the main reason why we were just like, screw it, we're just going to do it live. But and then when we started doing it live, we're like, there's no reason to go back and edit it, because I mean
Yeah.
well, not to because of all the reasons Jason even mentioned. There's really no point. I mean, the show is what it is.
Right.
If we have little goof ups, or if we have little glitches, which we've had every now and then, we recover. We recover from them, and we move on. The show goes through, and everything's cool. So, but Chuck Billy's human, just like everybody else, and
Right.
he was
He laughed
having
it off. He
oh
laughed it off too. So I mean,
oh they all oh he laughed it off, and they laughed. The band members laughed at him, and
yeah, it was all cool.
oh yeah, I mean it was all in good fun and everything else. But it just goes to show you. I mean, these guys, professional athletes fuck up all the time. Professional musicians fuck up all the time. I mean, hell, actors and actresses fuck up all the time too. By the time you see the finished product, there's no telling how many takes it took to film it. So I mean,
Right.
nobody is perfect. So and we are going to be far from perfect. We're not professional anything. So
Right. I do think like with that the Bass Strikes Back tour, it's hard to you see tours a lot, but it's hard to say, damn, I've seen a tour with like 6 of the most amazing guitarists to play thrash metal, in one night. That's
yeah.
That's one of the things. And then, not taking away from anything else. I mean, we got great drummers on the bill too. So, and of course, great lead vocalists. I mean, just all in one. It's like
the talent that was in the building last night was unreal.
You can't go wrong with 3 lead vocalists like that. I mean, and you couldn't ask for a better opener for that than Death Angel either. So I mean, he really knows how to get in with the crowd and get them hyped up for the bands coming after him, which is what an opener is supposed to do. So
right. And another thing that I like about it, all 3 bands, is you can tell, even with as long as they've been doing this stuff, you can tell that they still enjoy it. They still appreciate they still appreciate everything. They're not just like, all right, we're just another show in another city, just to try to make a living and stuff. Like you could see, that they all appreciate it, and
right.
that it's not just it's not work.
Right.
So which I can appreciate as someone who's paying to see the show, because I have been to some shows where it's like you kind of get the vibe from, maybe not the band in its entirety, but I mean sometimes you can see in a musician's face that kind of is like,
right.
Like, let's try to just hurry this fucker up and move on. So I mean, I've seen that a few times. So when you can tell that the musicians are enjoying what's going on just as much as you are, you get that back and forth, and it makes for it basically becomes like a complete experience, which is always good. And anyone in the, of course, I was about to say anyone local who hasn't been to Brooklyn Bowl needs to go, but like I was telling you before the show, I was talking to a dude down in front of down along the barricade last night from New Jersey. So I mean, it doesn't even necessarily need to be anybody.
Right.
It doesn't need to be anybody local, but that was a cool venue. That was a cool venue too.
It was, yeah. I'm kind of wanting to see how it compares to the one that Machine Head's playing at in Madison, because I mean it's kind of the same setup. I was looking at pictures of that one. So
yeah.
And we want to talk about appreciation, man. Like not to go back to the Blue Ridge thing, but Seven Dust, man. It's like I don't think I've ever seen a set Seven Dust has played where like John Witherspoon isn't so appreciative that he cries. Like, and it's like he's so emotional about where he's at in his life that it touches him, and then it's like that's just raw emotion, man. You can't get that all the time, but I mean he's really like that all the time. Like every time I've seen him, he's went out and say thank you guys for coming out, and then the crowd would just be like chanting Seven Dust like for 10 minutes, and he just has to stop. He's, man, y'all killing me, y'all breaking me up, but he is really appreciative of everything, which is cool. I mean, it's good to have those bands that are real authentic and don't mind showing their emotions. But we're supposed to be all these tough guy rockers, but I mean,
Yeah.
deep down inside, they're still people. So
Absolutely.
it's good to see that they can still, and even God forbid, like they were chanting them for like ever, dude, and like the lead singer was just like, dude, y'all gotta quit, you're choking me up. But
well, hell, that was their first show back together in 9 years. I can only. Then the funny thing is, there was actually. I was surprised at how many bands had gotten back together just for Blue Ridge. Talking about God forbid and Kitty and stuff like Kitty played their first show in over 5 years. So,
Union Underground had played.
Yeah, Union Underground.
Like 10, 12 years. And then Shadows Fall was there. They've just been recently reunited. Bud Bean. So, I mean, there's a lot of. Luckily, like I said, from what I've heard from Chad Gray, they're going to work on new music. Chad really sounded rough, man. I was kind of disappointed in that, but he has been through a lot in the last month. From falling on a barricade to having COVID. So I mean, he's had to deal with some issues. So hopefully he can get over that hump by the time he plays live again. So
yeah,
but yeah, so it's like I said, overall it was like, as far as like the bands go, you can't you can't touch those lineups. I think that's why that's how they get you, man. It's like their lineups are so good. It's like, and like, I see Louder Than Life and I see all these other ones, and I'm just like, I'd probably catch 30 or so of those bands, but half of them, I just, say, whatever, I mean, you got to think Louder Than Life had Kiss and Slipknot. I mean, they had a little bit of they stretched it out across a few decades with their headliners. So and I'm sure it was packed, and I ain't gonna doubt that at all. So especially did Louder Than Life, was that this week, or I can't remember. It was
shit, I honestly, I don't know. I wasn't really keeping track. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming up. I wasn't really keeping track.
There was like 2 weeks apart from it in Blue Ridge. That's why, one year that I went to Blue Ridge, I was like, damn, I'd love to go to Louder Than Life too, but they're 2 weeks apart. So
yeah.
Actually, it's the 22nd through the 25th, so it's coming.
So this coming week. Okay.
Yeah, so it's coming up. So like I said, it's gonna be a good show too. Like, I could probably put together a lineup that would be perfect, but as far as like throwing money at all these bands, it's kind of like where you have to, and I've gotten to where doing this, I've kind of gotten, to know a lot of lower bands that aren't as known. So, we could always like, throw money at them to put them on, too. But it's just like, I don't have that kind of money. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying if I had that kind of money, but but yeah, we passed the old dealership here in town. There's an old dealership here in town, the Ford dealership, and that's the first thing every time I think about it. I say, man, I wish I had the money to buy that. I turn it into a venue. So I mean,
wouldn't be the worst idea.
I mean, it was perfect because it's
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't be the worst idea. You got plenty of parking back, because where they used to put all the cars on the lot, and then you would probably have to remodel the building a little bit to open it up for a show. But I mean, I think the building's the right size.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
and the thing is, like, I wasn't talking about just music either. I'm talking about wrestling or comedy or anything as far as that goes in there. Sure. So it could just be like our local, entertainment. So, and there's not a lot of that going on here. That's the bad thing.
No, there isn't.
It's not like Nashville where you can, hop from one bar to another and it's live music everywhere. So, and everything's basically on one goddamn road. Right.
Yeah. It's all easy to find. Well, and that would be another selling point for that building. It's right along one of the main thoroughfares here in town. So you'd have a lot of traffic, to it. So that wouldn't be the worst idea. But hopefully
maybe if I hit the Powerball tonight. So.
There you go. But hopefully they'll get all the, like you said, if it's still going to be at the Raceway next year, they'll get all the logistical issues worked out, because I know that we talked about it, briefly last week before, the issues we had.
Right.
But the bands at the beginning of the days are the bands who need the eyes on them more.
Exactly.
So those are those are the bands that are really getting shortchanged by the fact that the people who really should be seeing them can't, because they can't get into the venue in a timely fashion. So I mean,
Right.
it would be different if like the traffic issues were like at the end of the day when everyone was leaving, after everybody got to see the show and everybody's getting out and trying to go home or back to their hotels and everything, like if that was the holdup. But you're talking about the holdup at the beginning of the day, and they can't like push the set times back
Right.
to allow people to get there. No, I mean, you got to get the people into the venue so the people on the side stages can be seen, because that's how new fan bases are developed. That's how new bands are discovered, and that's how new bands are popular. So they need to figure that out for those guys. Not even necessarily for the fans so much. Well, it's probably actually a 50-50 split. I think that's basically what I'm trying to say. The people, your paying customers need to get in to be able to see as many bands as they paid for. And then the bands that they paid for, the ones who really need the exposure, need all the exposure that they can get. Get those people in there so they can get eyes on them. So I mean, they need to figure, because we just talked about the lineups are solid. Get all the people in to see all the bands.
Yeah. That's what I say. The lineup doesn't mean nothing if you don't have the people in there to support them. I mean, it's like, these, another thing is you have like, you have, I don't remember, like 30, 50, I don't know, some crazy number of vendors in there that, they're losing money too, because when we get there at that point, if we're there at 11 trying to get in to see a band at 2 and we don't get into 4, well, they just missed out on about 4 or 5 hours of money they could have been getting from all the, thousands of people that were in line waiting to get shuttled over.
Yeah. So, and not to mention by the time you get there, you're so pissed off that you missed bands. You're like, fuck it, we need to get to a stage. You're bypassing all those people anyway.
Yep. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no time to worry about any of that. So you have to pick your point and say, okay, well, we're not seeing anybody for, 35 minutes in this set, so we'll go grab a bite to eat at that point. You're already planning all that out. So you're not stopping and shopping at these places because you're already on a time frame that you've already set out. You're like, I'm seeing this band. You already got your set out, your time for that day is planned out. So you don't have a lot of time to do any of the shopping stuff. But
so when when the shuttles can't get you in there, in a timely fashion, then your whole timetable becomes truncated, and then you feel like you got to be in a rush from one thing to the next, and stuff gets overlooked or skipped and everything else.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing that I was, talking to my wife about on the way up here, I said, I don't know how their school system works. If it's anything like, ours around here, if they have a fall break or anything, then I think they should plan it around that, depending on what time of year it is. Of course, you don't want to do that in like November, but if it's late September, early October, then maybe try to work something in that time frame to where you could use the school bus drivers to help with pulling people back and forth over there, shuttling them. So, and the thing that was like, he's like, oh, well, we contracted 40 shuttles. And of course, as you can see, we didn't get 40 shuttles. And I said, okay, well, that's when I would have been on the phone with whoever I contracted that shit with and be like, you don't give me 40 shuttles, I'm not paying your ass. This is, I mean, you signed a fucking contract. So, that's how it works. You sign a contract, you're making a promise to that person. So if you don't fulfill it, then, they don't have to fulfill their ends. Right. I mean, that's just the way it works. So then, and I think another thing is they were talking about, they just go with the cheapest people, and they're not going by a rating of how good these people are about, fulfilling their duties. So,
well, and that's on the organizers, because if you're going to have, if you're going to have in upwards of 250,000 people, you better have all your damn ducks in a row and make sure that you got all that shit taken care of.
And that's another thing.
Especially after the problems you were talking about last year.
Right. And that's another thing is, you have them saying, oh, well, we weren't, we didn't expect this much. I'm like, hold on, exactly how many people and how many tickets you've sold, or you couldn't put on your site that you're 99% sold out. I mean, how are you able to say that if you don't know how many you fucking sold?
Right.
It's almost like it got to the point where I just felt like I was just hearing excuses and nothing, and nothing being done. So, unfortunate. because like I said, the lineups were pretty solid. I don't have any intentions of going back there, so I'm just letting them know straight up. 2 years in a row of that bullshit, and I'm done. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like I said, so what the whole thing is, first time you do that, then shame on you. Second time, shame on me. Ain't gonna be a third. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yep.
and it'd be different if it was different issues, but it's the same shit. It's like, how can you not learn from last year? I don't get it, but
Yeah.
um, like I said, I don't know what goes in behind doing a lot of that, so I can't really you know I can't really say how quick of a turnaround um, it is to get anything done like that. But still, I mean, there's to me, there's churches in the area you could have got buses from, and like people say, oh well, they're not going to do a rock show. Let me tell you something. If you give a church $600 for as a donation, they're gonna drive you wherever the hell you want to go. They'll
Mm-hmm.
drop you off at the gates of hell if that's because
Yeah.
I mean you're donating to the church, and the church is that's how they build and how they build their congregations and succeed is
Yep.
by donations.
Yep.
Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, you go out and like I said, you go out and give them that kind of money, to shuttle. They're going to shuttle you. Of course, they
Yeah.
wouldn't work on Sunday, but you could
Well, naturally.
you could have had them on that Thursday and Friday when you were having all the difficulties.
Right. I mean, you gotta, like I said, when it's something on that scale, you need to really leave no stone unturned and exhaust,
Right.
exhaust every avenue. All right, did we look everywhere for, for buses, for this, for anything? Do we have enough porta potties? Do we have enough fucking trash cans? Do we have enough buses? Do we have enough anything?
Well, that was another
Fucking,
thing. Like
I mean,
the trash on the first day was horrible too. It's like they didn't have enough. I don't know if they didn't have enough people going around emptying it or what happened, but I mean, it was just stuff like everybody was just piling it around the can at some point because you couldn't put anything else in it.
yeah.
And of course, that looks bad too. But I would rather them do that than just leave it wherever the hell they're sitting. You know what I mean? Because then it just looks like just looks like shit because you got bottles and paper and stuff everywhere instead of one location. So
Right.
um,
Yeah.
which that still happens because people like are on people, like we always say. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, they did say they did make an announcement saying they were going to have on-site parking next year. So I don't know how much of that, how much on-site parking. I mean, can you hold 100,000 people? That's the thing. But
Interesting.
Another thing that I didn't understand really is why they just didn't have it at the fairgrounds. It's like the fair is going on there the 16th, which we started yesterday. The county fair, state fair, whatever they have there was started yesterday. So you had till Sunday till the day to break down and clean up, which I figured you could probably break it down and clean it up a lot better than you can setting it up. So they were breaking down some of the stages like soon as the last person played on Sunday. So,
well, I mean that makes sense because I mean if you're done using it, then you might as well. So
yeah, I was just tearing.
I wonder if like next year, because you said they're having on-site parking and it's still supposed to be at the at Virginia, the raceway there. Yeah. You said that the stages weren't inside the speedway. I wonder if they could use.
Well, I guess let me say this: some of them were partially inside, but people need to don't misconstrue this. It's not a functional raceway.
Well, see that's the thing though. If NASCAR, like the speedway is there, but it's not on the NASCAR circuit right now.
Right.
I wonder if like next year, if they're going to have on-site parking, if they could use of this, because if 90% of the concert is on site but outside the racetrack, why not have the infield be one of your on-site parking areas?
Yeah. Well, so I didn't really from what I was understanding when we first seen this was we were going to be parking outside of the speedway, and then the infield and stuff where they were going to have the actual concerts.
Now see that's what I would have done. That's what I would have done.
Yeah. So I don't know if how that would work out sound wise from one end to another. I don't know if it's long enough. I mean, I don't, like I said, I'm not the statistic guy and I'm not there. So,
Well, that's true.
and if I seen that area, like if they could fly me over in a helicopter, I could see the aerial of it. I could probably, probably could have helped them out with planning, but,
Yeah.
but I'm
Well,
like,
I
no,
mean, you're a fan who's been there twice. So I mean, at this point, you've had boots on the ground experience with the whole layout. So
yeah.
I mean,
I mean, there's people that have been there since the first one. So I mean,
well, see, yeah, I mean,
as far as I know, this has been going on. I think they said 15 was the first year, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but
yeah, I think you said last week this was like the 6th or 7th year.
Yeah, something
Well,
like that.
I mean, minus the pandemic shit, but
yeah.
As far as calendar years, so, but yeah, it I mean, it definitely sounds like they got some bugs to work out. If they're I think like you mentioned this last week, they need to, if they're going to keep doing this, they need to find a place, stay in that place. That way they don't have to just completely start over from scratch. Mm-hmm. Like, all right, now how do we fit everything on this site? How do we fit everything on that site? Find a place and stay there. And then you're able to, make adjustments, for this year. You'll be able to make adjustments in 23. Okay, what didn't work in 22? What can we do in 23 if we're staying on the same site? Can we move anything out? I mean, what's our perimeter? Can we get more space? Can we use some of this? Because like I say, if they weren't using the inside of the racetrack, can we use the inside of the racetrack? I mean, so.
Like another thing, like somebody brought up too, is like if you're waiting in line that long, why don't they have a TV there that's streaming from the show so we're not missing anything? We can actually.
Oh, that's a good idea.
We can actually still see it. Or, matter of fact, they had enough room to put a stage where we were at, to see a band play while we were waiting. So, I mean, so they could have just had, and then it was like at a bar, and the bar was big enough to where, they could have had them in there dressing out and rehearsing this stuff in that bar before they came out. So, so I mean, that was an option too. But like I said, if you don't know that that's going to be a big issue until day 1 or 2, it's hard to do that. But now that and if you can't, if you don't see a way to fix it, then that's always an option. I mean, you could always just But like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back. I mean, I won't be there, but I'm sure I'll still be on the Facebook page and seeing all the complaints. So,
well, I mean, even if you're not going, you still. I mean, because I personally, I have never. I can't say never. I haven't been to festival since 2004. During when Ozfest, but it's been that long since I've been to a festival. But that being said, I've never been to like one of these Louder Than Life Sonic Temples, Blue Ridge, Exit 111. But
you're talking a 1-day festival compared to a 4-day one too, though.
That's also true. But at the same time, with Maryland Death Fest went away, and then the Wisconsin Death Fest or Milwaukee Death Fest had to be revived by Jamie Jasta. Thankfully he did that. As a heavy metal fan, I don't want to see any of these festivals fail.
Same,
even if I never go, I don't want to see any of these festivals fail for the good of the genre.
Mm-hmm.
So if I never go to Blue Ridge, they need to get their shit worked out. So the bands, have a place to be seen, especially like we said, the bands that play at the start of the day.
Right. And there was like a rumor that they were seeing something in line about, there was a rumor about Danny Wimmer may have been a silent partner trying to see how it was going to work out to see if he may wanted to buy it, which I doubt that's actually true. I don't think Danny wants any more headaches than what he already has. But
yeah, he's already.
I mean, he's already running like 6 festivals. I mean, he doesn't need it. I mean, he doesn't need to show that he can do 7. I mean,
he probably doesn't have time.
He probably doesn't. Yeah, I mean, if that's great. I mean, if he wants to, but like I said, it's hard to. I mean, he's already got them spaced out just far enough to where he doesn't have to like do. I mean, he's probably got it worked out where he can plan those, and he got enough time in between to plan them. Mm-hmm. The good thing about him is like a lot of his stuff is in the same spot.
We'll see that
so
helps.
He doesn't have to worry about parking and all that. It's the same every year. So the only thing that I will say about theirs is like getting out at night because a lot of people leave at the same time, and then you got to wait on somebody that's nice enough to let you out. So it's kind of, but other than that, I would much rather stay in a line in my car with air conditioning instead of standing out in the damn heat and muggy, weather waiting on a damn shuttle bus. So
yeah, I don't think I've ever gone to a major concert where I didn't have some delay getting out.
yeah,
But like you say, once the concert's over and you're back at your car, even like you say, even if you're in line, you're sitting down, you're comfortable and everything. So you expect that. But I mean, of course, last night leaving the concert, we were able to, get out relatively easily, but
yeah.
we didn't walk out the second the show ended. We honestly, we hung around looking for you. And then, when I finally got your text that said you were in the parking lot because you parked at a different lot than us,
Yeah.
then we started making our way out. But then, like I say, I ran into that kid that I was talking to, and then I ran into that guy again that I was talking to, down by the road. We didn't leave the second that the show was over. So, I mean, that actually ended up helping us out because a lot of people had already left. So, I mean, we were able to pull straight out onto Third and head up towards Jefferson, towards the interstate. So, but having said that, anytime I went to Starwood, you were waiting to get out.
Right.
The show ends. So, I mean, but you have to expect that. Tuesday night we're going downtown to see the Slipknot show, and it's going to take us a while to get out. And that that's just to be expected. I'm ready, fine, and I'm not exactly sure what. Oh, there you go. Okay, I thought I lost you for a second.
I don't think anybody wanted to hear me sneeze into the microphone. So
yeah, well, yeah, there you go.
The Slipknot shows at Bridgestone. Or?
What's that now?
The Slipknot show at Bridgestone, or
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing is whenever I go down to Bridgestone, I always try to park in the same parking garage anyway. So, I mean, I already know where I'm going to park, so I already know the logistics of that trip. So I'm not worried about that, so.
That's one thing I do miss about working downtown is having that parking pass where you can go and park in the garage.
Oh, I know. That was nice. That was nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we need to crank into the show here before we wind up spending all day on here talking about shows. So.
Well, I mean, that would just be a shame talking about shows that we've been to. I mean,
if we go to enough of those, we could just have the whole show about reviews and not ever have to worry about doing anything else.
Man, I'm telling you.
But yeah, so luckily for everybody, I have enough T-shirts now. You shouldn't see the same one the rest of the year. So
you need I don't know if I need to pull up that picture that you posted of all you guys shirts that you bought. I should pull that up and I should screen share it. I should do that.
It was.
You guys had a hell of a haul, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, we do, we save up money for when we know that we're going to those things. So as soon as we know, we start saving up the money. So I mean, we had a pretty good, chunk saved up to go to this thing. So
yeah,
and we knew we were going to need a couple of $1,000 between the hotel, the rental car, and all that good stuff. So I mean, we were prepared. So we had we knew we were going to spend a shit ton on shirts. We usually do. So. I just, and that's a good thing about the festivals. You want to, if you want to catch a bunch of bands that you haven't seen. I mean, here you go. It's like, and plus I'm kind of making up for not being able to buy stuff at like Louder in Life and stuff when I went there. It's like, because the T-shirt lines were unfreaking real at that place. So
yeah.
But like I said, that was one of my first festivals. So I went to the Sonic Temple and then Louder in Life, and then I went to Blue Ridge 2 years in a row. Yeah, so, by the time I went to the Blue Ridge the first time, I kind of had it figured out. Like, okay, well, you got to plan out your time when you go to the merch. So, So luckily we went when like Ghost was playing the first night, so we don't care about Ghost, so we went while they were playing. So
There you go. Yeah.
And then we had like a what was it, an hour and 10 minutes in between two bands on Saturday or Friday. I can't remember, Friday or Saturday, either one. But we had like an hour and a half, hour and 10 minutes in between. So that's when we went to the merch. So so it worked out. But like I said, they had a lot. I don't know if it was really bigger. I guess a lot of people may have just bought stuff because it was like right inside the door this year. So I think a lot of people may have just went straight to the merch tent when they got there.
May have.
Midday it wasn't as busy. So
yeah,
and I'll give the merch people, the tent people, credit, man. They move people through that thing pretty quickly. Even us that when we bought 4 or 5 shirts at a time each day or something, they were still moving us through. So. And like we weren't the only ones. I mean, there were people buying 10 and 12. So I mean,
right.
we weren't alone in that.
Yeah.
So for them to, like I said, there was good things and bad things. So of course, the bad things, unfortunately, are the same bad things that's been going on. But
right,
like I said, there was good stuff too. But
yeah.
All right, so I guess we need to crank into this stuff here.
Yeah.
Do the birthdays from September 11th through the 17th. September 11th, we had Tommy Shaw, guitarist and singer for Sticks and Damn Yankees. Gidget Gain, Bradley Stewart's real name. Guitarist and bass player for Marilyn Manson Band. Of course, he passed away in 2008. We have Mark Klepaski, bass guitarist for Breaking Benjamin. September 12th, we had Reed Lawrence, Larry Lalonde, guitarist for Primus. Michael Pagent, guitarist for Bullet for a Valentine. Gus G, guitarist for Firewind and Dream Evil. September 13th, we had Teddy Mueller, drummer for Axe. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2012. We had Vinny Appice, drummer for Black Sabbath. He's all right drummer, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not too shabby.
Then, of course, we had one of our favorites, Dave Mustaine, guitarist and singer for Megadeth, and of course, he had a brief stint with Metallica back in '81, '83. So,
right. Yep.
Then we had another one of our favorites, Tim Ripper Owens, singer for Iced Earth and Judas Priest, which is
among others.
among KK's Priest and
yeah.
But they don't talk about Judas Priest, which is unfortunate because
it's a shame.
There was 2 good albums in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's a shame.
And then we had September 14th, Pete Agnew, bassist for Nazareth, Jeff Loomis, a guitarist for Nevermore, and Paolo Gregoletto, bassist for Trivium, Paula Caragosa, guitarist for Detonator and Pandora. September 15th, we had Lee Dorman, bassist for Iron Butterfly. He unfortunately passed away in 2012. We had Jerry Dixon, bassist for Warrant. September 16th, we had Dave Snake Sabo, a guitarist for Skid Row. And we had September 17th, we had Ty Tabor, guitarist and singer for King's X, and Keith Flint, singer for Prodigy. And of course, he passed away in 2019. So happy birthday to those. Yep. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. And if anybody out there is celebrating like always, happy birthday to you as well. So,
yep. Happy birthday to all.
Now, the Keith Flint situation, I'll always remember that because he had passed away right before the Sonic Temple or Louder in Life? Sonic Temple. Yeah, Sonic Temple Festival. So he passed away like right before that. So they had to make a last minute addition to that. And what's so crazy is that Jacoby Shaddix from Papa Roach is always at these shows, whether he's on them or not. He's always at the Ohio festivals. so he was already there. So they were just like, hey, can you get Papa Roach here in enough time to play in place of Prodigy? And of course he agreed. And so it was pretty cool. And they actually, they played us long in tribute to Keith. So and had his banner up and everything, which was pretty cool. So
yeah, that was
nice. And I'll always remember that just because it was such a quick turnaround, and they kind of jumped in, and they didn't have to. So
yeah,
pretty cool. All right. I guess we will switch over to some news.
Yep. Current events. You know, it's another one of those weeks where we got to lead off with some bad news. So
Yeah.
not to make not to downplay it, but let's we'll start there just to kind of so we can move on from it. Over at blabbermouth.net, of course, this was at pretty much all of our outlets, that we kind of keep an eye on. But Swedish metalers Soilwork have announced the passing of their guitarist David Andersson. He was 47 years old. On Wednesday, September 14th, the band released the following statement via social media. Quote, "We are deeply saddened today as we bring the terrible news of David Andersson's passing. He was one of a kind and a brilliant man in so many ways. He was our guitarist for more than 10 years and had a big impact on Soilwork's musical journey forward. Sadly, alcohol and mental illness took you away from us. We will miss him dearly and will continue to carry the musical legacy that he was a part of. Our deepest condolences go out to his family. Forever grateful for the time we spent with you and all the good laughs. Thank you, Dr. Dave. See you on the other side. We encourage everyone to respect the privacy of David's family and friends in these tragic times." End quote. In addition to being a longtime member of Soilwork, David played in the orchestra alongside Soilwork singer Bjorn Streed. Oh shit! Sorry, there's more. There's more below an ad. Sorry. The night flight. The night flight. Oh, see, yeah, one of those little
There
things.
you go. Yeah.
The night. And Chuck Billy can laugh at me now because I laughed at him last night. Chuck, if you're watching, go ahead, laugh at me. The Night Flight Orchestra said in a separate statement,
because I laughed at him.
quote, "Good night, sweet doctor. We all hope you finally found peace. We will miss you so much. You were one of a kind and a brilliant musician. Sadly, alcohol and mental illness took you away from us. It hurts so much. Our deepest condolences go out to David Andersson's family on this difficult day. His music will live on forever. Thank you for all the unforgettable times together. See you on the other side." Andersson officially joined Soilwork in 2012 as the replacement for Peter Wykers. Prior to becoming a member of Soilwork, Andersson had toured on and off with the band since 2006. In a 2020 interview with Hard Rock Haven, Andersson stated about his musical evolution, quote, "I tried to have a career as a rock musician and a songwriter when I was 20 and made a few records with a band on an American label, but it just didn't go anywhere and we split. I gave up on music for a while, then became a doctor." That's why they call him Dr. Dave. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But back in 2006, I got the chance to start playing in Soilwork, and that was when my career sort of restarted. I didn't see that coming because when I first gave up on my rock star game, I was like 22 or 23, so it's all been my surprise. I've been on this level for around 14 years now, and it just keeps getting better. I hope. I'm still surprised and also extremely grateful that I got the chance to do this eventually because that's what I always wanted to do growing up. So I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to kind of keep an ear out for this, because passing away at 47, you kind of, of course, as people get older, you can kind of like, okay, well that, not to bring up something completely not music related, but I mean, the Queen just died. She was 96, people are like, well, how'd she die? She was 96,
Yeah, right.
So, but when a guy passes away at 47, it kind of makes you wonder what happened, and, so, both, Soilwork and the Night Flight Orchestra both said alcohol and mental illness. So, I mean, that could mean so many different things. So, to avoid speculation, that's kind of one of those things that we'll keep like an eye on and see if like we get something kind of official. And if we do that, we'll kind of pass that along to you guys. But, regardless of what happened, obviously he left legacy on those who, played with him. And like I said, lucky, he didn't think he was going to have a career in music. So, the fact that he was able to pick up where he left off and he got to do what he wanted to do, he got to live his dream. And I mean, that's really all you can hope for. Right. So,
and they put out a great album out earlier.
They did that one that Overgiven Heaton that just came out. Yeah. So, I mean, it was really good. It was surprising. Not that Soilwork's a bad band, but I was still, cause they're not, but it was still just a great album. Mm-hmm. But, definitely gone way too early. I mean, didn't even get a chance to make it to 50. So, definitely our thoughts go out to them.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's somebody that's like my age. That's what's kind of like, wow. That playlist that's posted is the weekly one. So
yeah, I figured as much. Yeah. So
we'll leave. Yeah, I'll share the one from last week when we get ready to go into this week's top 10. So
Yeah, we'll leave this up here for a little while.
and of course, if any of you out there go on to these things, don't go in thinking that all you're going to hear is what we talk about, because I actually added on a couple of extra songs on the last week's playlist that we didn't talk about. So
yeah,
so,
right. The playlists are never written in stone. I mean, because during the week when we're trying, especially for like the top 10, when we're getting our content together, we're under a little bit of a deadline, so sometimes stuff kind of gets missed. And
right.
like later on in this episode, when we read our top 10s, we get it compiled, and then forgot about that one. So we will go back and and add it in there. And I do put this up on the Metalheads Unite Facebook group for people. I share a collaboration link that people can use for 24 hours to add anything that they want to add. And as far as I know, he's kind of that's neither here nor there. So I mean, so yeah, the playlists that we put up are never written in stone. There's always room for additions. So
and you could always go to Spotify and just go to do the search and do Metalheads Unite and then playlist, and then all those playlists will pop up for you. So there's a bunch of them on there right now. So
there's a shit ton of them on there.
Yeah, which the yearly playlist, once the year's over, I usually take those down and start over. But after I'll keep the last month or so up, but usually I'll get rid of the previous ones, just because I don't want it to be in there forever. So
yeah, well, and it'll keep the list easier to look through.
Yeah, I don't want people to have to power through, because I don't like doing that a lot of times, powering through 50 other playlists to find one thing that I want to listen to. So
right, yeah.
All right, it's my first story over here is from Metal Hammer. To celebrate the release of Hammerfall's epic Hammer of Dawn, which emerged earlier this year to great acclaim, we've teamed up with the Swedish power metalers for an exclusive bundle. As well as having a special variant Hammerfall cover. It comes with an exclusive beer mat and a hand-signed art card. Only 250 bundles are available worldwide, so be quick. Inside the magazine is a feature with frontman, and I'm going to kill a name, and I apologize.
You want me to say it?
Yeah, you say it.
Yoakum Cans.
Yoakum. There you go. I mean, the last name was easy, but I knew it had like a Y sound to it in the beginning, in the first name, but I just didn't know actually how the last part of it was pronounced. So.
Yeah, I know.
And a guitarist, Oscar Joniak, who recalled the moment the band came together. Oscar had left early mellow death band there we go. Ceremonial Oath to carve out his own fantastic path. Of course, I will say this: for some reason, my printer didn't print the font for what I set it for, so it's really smaller than what I.
Oh no!
So I mean, I can see it, but it's like once it starts going fast, I kind of get lost. I'm like, oh shit, where was that? But,
right.
Anyway, Hammerfall was born as a heavy metal band that wore the leather studs and chains that Ceremonial Oath did not want me to wear. Oscar recalls once he recruited singer. I
was gonna let you have it.
Yoakum Cans. Okay. From Ford metal band Highlander, his vision was complete. All the other bands were talking about grunge and thrash and all that, but we kept on about all these obscure bands like Storm Switch and Warlord and Pitcher, says Yoakum. I think that was a good start. It showed us the manual for heavy metal that we use is the same. You can order your copy of the exclusive Hammerfall bundle online now and get it delivered straight to your door. There's also links over at Metal Hammer if you want to look at that, but it's also on the Hammerfall website. So any Hammerfall fans out there that want to get in on that, is 250 bundles. So not me.
But yeah, you better get them quick, because I guarantee you the people in Sweden already probably took them all.
Yeah, gulped them up. Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I got to show you something I picked up last night too.
Okay.
I had to go grab it. I'll have to go grab it here in a minute. But
right. And if you guys are a power metal fan at all like me and you haven't heard Hammerfall yet, you should come out. You wouldn't be disappointed if you're a power metal fan.
Well, I mean, even if you're not, I'm not a big power metal fan, but I like Hammerfall. So,
well, yeah, I mean, it's not just for power metal fans, but I mean,
well, I'm just saying, like, they're one of those bands. Like, if you're not, normally a power metal fan, I mean, they're still a good band to listen to. Like, I'm not normally a power metal fan, but Hammerfall and some of the other of the bands. There's a couple other bands that I like that are considered power metal. But
yeah, I mean, Sabaton is technically power metal.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Staying over at Blabbermouth, thrash metal pioneers Megadeth have officially staked their claim of the Web 3.0 space by unveiling their one-of-a-kind new project. Rattleheads is a generative art collection pulling from nearly 40 years of iconic themes and imagery. The collection is based on Megadeth's skeletal mascot Vic Rattlehead, an otherworldly being born in a dungeon of torment and pain. With eyes covered by a riveted-on visor, his mouth clamped shut, and his ears closed with metal caps, Vic embodies the phrase "see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil." Produced by 5 to 1 Collective in partnership with Upper Echelon Studios, the collection is inspired by Megadeth's long-standing Cyber Army fan club and features militaristic mission deployment mechanics alongside vast additional utility to be revealed in upcoming transmissions. Says Megadeth leader Dave Mustaine, quote, "As long as Megadeth has been a band, I've ensured that we were leading the charge. Our first album set the standard for thrash metal. We were the first band to have a website. Our fan club Cyber Army was started in 1994. Our 2016 album Dystopia came with a full virtual reality experience, which I actually have. And now with the rise of Web3 technology and its ability to directly connect us with our fans, this moment is perfect for Megadeth. It allows the ultimate connection with our community and with none other than the almighty Vic Rattlehead as our standard bearer," end quote. According to Billboard, Megadeth's latest album, The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead, sold 48,000 equivalent album units in the U.S. in its first week of release to land at position number 3 on the Billboard 200 chart. It marks the band's 8th top 10 charting album. Of Sick, the Dying, and the Dead's 48,000 units earned for the week, album sales comprise 45,000, SEA units comprise 3,000, and TEA units comprise a negligible sum. Megadeth's previous top 10 entries in the Billboard 200 were Countdown to Extinction, number 2 in 1992, Euthanasia, number 4 in 1994, Cryptic Writings, number 10 in 1997, United Abominations, number 8 in 2007, Endgame, number 9 in 2009, Super Collider, number 6 in 2013, and Dystopia, number 3 in 2016. The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead arrived on September 2nd via You-Me. And if you haven't heard the new Megadeth yet, I'm not exactly sure what the fuck you're waiting on.
Right. I actually expect that to be in both of our top 10s by the end of the year. So
it'll be there.
Yeah. Unless something like really, really crazy happens in the next 3 months. But
yeah. Which I mean, if it does, all the better.
Yeah.
If something comes along in the next 3 months that knocks Megadeth out of the top 10, it definitely wouldn't be, to Megadeth's detriment, because they're going to be fine. But if something comes along and knocks that out of the top 10, then
if something comes up and knocks it out of the top 10, that's damn good music. So
absolutely, that's basically what I was trying to say.
We may have some additions to the top 10, but I don't know if anything will knock it out. I mean, we got Slipknot coming up in a couple of weeks, and then, of course, a couple of weeks after that, we got Lamb of God. So, we still got a lot of music. Like I said. We commented on a post, and I said, for me right now, Partway Drive is leading the pack, but that's just my opinion.
Right, but
that's why we do this thing. That's why we do these things, is because everybody has their own opinion. Yeah, and of course, like I said, Machine Head's right up there too. So, so you got already got a lot of great albums that are up in there, but then we still got a lot of music to go. So,
right,
it's kind of hard to pimp. Like I said, if you had to do one today, then maybe, but it's just still got too much music to go to try to.
Right. Well, hell, even if we had to do one on the first 9 months, it would still be fucking hard because of everything we've listened to just up to this point.
I mean, even like the bands that we've had on here, they've put out great albums. The Defeat and the Eyes of the Living and
Extinction AD and Devil and One of the Last. All these guys.
Yeah, like
all these guys. Source of Rage. All of these guys.
Oh yeah, Source of Rage is like. Congratulations to them, by the way. They're blowing up over there. So
They
So
are,
hopefully,
and hell yeah, man.
Great to see. Very well deserved. So,
and when we'll go ahead and take a little bit of credit.
Well, I'm not going to take any credit for over there because I mean, but
hey, we've got German fans. We've got German fans.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they were already on their way from over there. So
actually, I guarantee you they were on their way already.
Yeah. Oh
so.
Yeah. Speaking of German trash, it's like we're getting ready to go to an Angela Sapatrita show, which if anybody's followed this show is one of mine and Chris's favorite bands. So, actually they were in. I think they were 1 and 2 in our album of the years that year. So
they were.
Yeah, you had them at 1, I had them at 2. So
yep.
So.
But see that, and see that's the thing, and that's the funny thing. That's another great thing about how we have done this show is, and it was like I was talking to that guy from New Jersey last night. I told him, I said, we focus on, obviously we talk about the big bands, of course we do, but our main focus is on bands that are either new to us or bands that just aren't in general known as well. And up until last year, Angela Sapatrita was a band that I hadn't heard before. And then right before, so at the tail end of 2020, leading into 2021, because the album came out February 5th of last year, he and I were going back and forth, like, you got to listen to this new single. So we discovered them on YouTube. The album came out in February and we were both fucking blown away. And considering the fact that album came out in February, and for me, made it all the way through from February all the way through to the end of the year, and was my top album from a band that was new to me, not new in general, that was new to me. That's a perfect example of what we initially meant for this show to be. For bands that aren't well known, whether it's here in the United States or whatever, because I'm sure they have quite the following over there in Spain where they're from. So it was a band that we discovered for ourselves. And hell, even later in the year last year, Rage came out with their 25th studio album.
Right, yeah.
And for some reason, I had really never heard of any of Rage's stuff, but their new. But when Resurrection Day came out, I was like, "How the hell have I not known about this band?" So,
the same thing happened. The same thing happened with Onslaught. We were out listening. I said, "You gotta check this out." It was out by the fire, and he's like, "Who the fuck is this?" And I said, "It's a band called Onslaught." I ran across, and then he's like, "Oh, this band's badass." And then we got to look at, like, I didn't know at the time either. And I said, "Well, let's see what else they got." And I got to look at it and I said, "Oh, well, they got like 20 other albums." He's like, "What?"
Yeah,
like, yeah. Now it's like 82 or some shit.
Yeah,
yeah. How did we miss that? Like, how did Ricky Ratman not turn us on to that? That's what I'm trying to say.
It's a good question. Yeah.
God damn it, Ricky.
Yeah. Oh, yes. There's actually a lot of shit you could blame on MTV music-wise.
Well, that's true. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, no offense to Ricky Ratman. I know he was more of the LA scene. Stuff,
well, nothing wrong with that either. Yeah.
Well, no, but I mean, that's just kind of what he was into. He wasn't, of course, he played the videos, but I mean, he's probably playing what they tell him to. So
right, yeah, he wasn't the programming director. I'm
no,
sure.
No. And I mean, like I said, that was his forte. Was the LA scene bands. I mean, that was his forte. He knew everything about them, and I mean, he's very knowledgeable about all that. So
yeah,
the Faster Pussycats and the LA Guns, and
sure,
Cruise and all that. I mean, he knew about all those bands from being at the little clubs there and stuff. So
going to the whiskey, going to the whiskey and all that shit. Yeah.
No.
But see, that's what's good about having this show right here. We don't have a program director. We can talk about any band.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. I'll talk and promote whatever the fuck I want to.
Damn straight.
Which is cool. I want to show you this real quick before I get carried away. I don't know if you've seen this last night, but I picked this up. Is the
you got the cassette.
Yeah, and they're actually numbered on the back. So
shit.
There was only
I didn't see that.
Yeah, so once I seen that, I said, "Oh shit, they're numbered." I said, "I'm gonna grab one because you know how I am with collecting stuff." So, and then I thought it was like pretty cool that the cassette is actually yellow. If you want to see.
Oh, so that's cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, which I could play it, but I probably never will.
No, I was about to say it's already. You got to keep it in that packaging. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's the funny thing is.
I was like $10.
Yeah, that's the cool thing is, I mean, it's already sealed in that packaging. You can keep it in there because you've already got, another way to listen to it. So,
Yep.
so
Yeah. I've
yeah,
already
that's badass.
CD, so, but yeah, and just like with the vinyl, I got the Megadeth vinyl, which they replaced, by the way, which I'm thankful
Oh,
for.
that's good. That's
So,
good.
and it came intact this time, so there was nothing wrong with it this time, thank God. So,
Good.
so yeah.
Now
So
you got one. Now you got one you can play and one you can
right,
keep in the package.
right.
There you go.
Yeah. So I got to send the other one back, but
Oh, balls.
which is fine. I didn't want it anyway because it was all tore up. But
Right, yeah.
But yeah,
Which
they just
still annoys the shit out of me even now. Just
yeah, and I
talking
mean,
about
like
it,
I
it's
said,
still annoying.
for it to be like that, it had to happen at and that's what I told him when I emailed him. I said, well, this had to happen there. I mean, because there's no way in hell that the UPS or FedEx guy did this because there's no bin in the cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
So it had to happen at whoever packed it.
Yep.
Which is shame on them. They ought to be slapped the shit out of them. But
yeah, they should.
Because you already know you're packaging a collector's edition thing, and then you're bullshit. But
yeah, you need to find out who packed that and smack him with the actual record. Be like,
yeah.
What the fuck
Luckily,
are you doing?
Luckily, it wasn't an Amazon package, or I actually could track that down. So
that's true. Yeah, you could have.
So yes, I do have that power at Amazon. So
that actually would have been funny if you could have done that.
Knock on their doors. Hey man, you know how to keep packaging that no better than this. You need to quit.
Yeah. That would have been fucking hilarious.
You getting photo bombed back there. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cats. Yeah, the cat's just laying out.
Yeah, I like. Speaking of that, I had a friend of mine showing me a picture. Had her cat was like, she goes, "There must be a ghost over here or something." And they were in the corner, just like standing straight up, just like a kid got put in the corner. And that's what I told her. I said, "Damn, you got it. You bad. You don't put your damn cat in the corner like shit."
Yeah. It's never good when the cat's in timeout.
Right. Yeah. All right. So get back into this here from over at Loudwire. This one was kind of interesting. It's become an all too common practice where scammers will try to prey on music lovers' fandom for their own gain. And it's something that Poison drummer Ricky Rocket and his wife TC are attempting to thwart by sharing a new video in which they detail how they've been catching people claiming to have ties to Ricky in order to scam his fans. Quote, every day I get something where somebody says, is this you contacting me? And then I'll look at some crazy idea of what they think they can get away with. Excuse me. Reveals Rocket. It's also been revealed that scammers have reached out to his family members, closest friends, and business associates with their cons. The couple detail how some of the many red flags that have happened with scammers reaching out to fans with requests using Rocket's name as bait. TC reveals they have been going down and contacting privately everybody that leaves comments on Ricky's post. That's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all other outlets. And they are doing this. And what they are doing is they have a fake profile to make it look like they are Ricky's personal manager. They pretend to work at either Capital, Universal, or some sort of sounding type of company. Within the video, TC, sorry, I keep saying CC because of CC DeVille.
Right, yeah, I get it.
TC details one particular scam and how they are able to work to catch the person. As noted in the description of their video, 100% throw and go video because it just needed to get out right away. Yeah, a scammer. This nasty little scammer will take $200K from you and not even bat an eyelash if you let them. Let's take them down. The couple shared within the clip that anything coming from Ricky Rocket will come from his official social media accounts, and they make note of who their management is as well as a common scam finds people reaching out on behalf of Rocket's management. So yeah, it's pretty cool that they're able to fight back on some of this because we know about the scamming stuff. So we've talked about it before on here. So
just, I mean, people are just low down, man. It's just
well, that's just like I always said about hackers. I mean, you have this talent to hack. Why don't you use it for good and make real money?
Mhm.
You know, and
Yeah.
earn your money. You know, it's like,
Yeah. Make if
why do you
if
have to
you
hack and steal and then wind up getting caught and going to prison for 25 years for
right,
something you could be
exactly.
making? Using that to your advantage and making over 100K a year. So
Yeah, and like you say, making money legally where you don't have to look over your fucking shoulder.
yeah,
I mean, just I don't know.
I think it's just real though. It's like can I do it without getting caught?
Well, and they do only for so long. Everyone gets caught eventually. So
Yep, eventually.
yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna Dave Mustaine will be happy because Metallica is gonna follow Megadeth for this one. Sorry, Dave. I love you, Dave. I had to make the joke. I had to.
Well. I mean, to Dave's credit, though, he's still putting out quality music. On a lot more frequent basis than Metallica. So.
Damn straight. Yeah, you definitely can't take that away from Dave. That's for sure. Blackened American Whiskey continues to push the boundaries of whiskey with the second release in its Masters of Whiskey series, introducing Blackened times Wes Henderson Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey finished in white port wine casks. The limited edition expression was created in partnership with Blackened American Whiskey's master distiller and blender Rob Dietrich and recently retired Angels Envy co-founder and Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame member Wes Henderson, marking his first project post-retirement. Blackened American Whiskey's Masters of Whiskey series builds upon the brand's core tenet of collaboration, converging the passions, talents, and skills of two master whiskey makers to create new distinctive expressions. This latest release is crafted from a base of 6-year-old Kentucky Straight Bourbon and finished in white port wine casks. Dietrich and Henderson both have extensive backgrounds in port wine finishes and knew they wanted to use that expertise for this whiskey. After exploring several finishes, they jointly sourced and selected a unique white port wine as the cask finish that balanced well with the depth of the bourbon. The resulting whiskey features notes of pear, raisin, cinnamon, and cigar box on the nose and hints of pear, honey, chipotle, cinnamon, vanilla, barn hay, and walnut on the palate. Do you people actually drink this shit? I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to ask my brother about it because I don't know. That's a whole lot of that's a lot to unpack.
No.
For those of you who don't know, I've never drank alcohol in my life, so I mean, I don't get this whole thing about like alcohol having so many flavors in it. Anyway, during finishing, the whiskey undergoes a sonic enhancement process in which the finishing barrels are pummeled by the low hertz frequencies of Metallica's music. The sound waves cause vibrations that shake the finishing barrels, causing greater interaction between the whiskey and the wood, thereby extracting more flavors and color. The expression is bottled at cask strength and is non-chill filtered. So whatever that means. I love rye. So for the first release of the Masters of Whiskey series, we created a cask finished rye, explained Dietrich. It was only natural that our next release should be a bourbon, but like everything we do, we couldn't create just any bourbon. It needed to be uniquely different. To do that, we partnered with one of the most renowned names in the industry, Wes Henderson. It was a true honor getting to work with Wes and learn how our palates aligned together in the process. His close friendship with Dave Pickerel sparked some of the concepts we designed for this whiskey. We've created something truly special that I hope whiskey enthusiasts will enjoy as much as we did making it, end quote. We don't do anything halfway, said Metallica's lead guitarist Kirk Hammett. We partnered with our co-founder, the late, great Dave Pickerel, to bring our badass original blend, now helmed by the amazing Rob Dietrich, Willett Distillery, to bring you an explosive rye, and Wes Henderson to create this outstanding bourbon. That's the really cool thing about the Masters of Whiskey series. We build on our core idea of collaboration, getting to work with these insane master distillers and blenders to innovate and bring new expressions to our fans and whiskey drinkers, end quote. So I'm sure you guys were wondering as I was like reading that articles like what the hell does that have to do with music, and the Metallica part was in there a little late, I'll admit. So but like any of you guys out there have any experience with Metallica's Blackened Whiskey series, I guess there's another avenue for you guys to explore there, so you guys can check that out.
You can get one within your hands today.
All within your hands. That's right. Very nice.
I don't know if they want to like collaborate that or not. But,
no, probably not.
Yeah, probably not. That's two different.
Yeah,
two different outlets. But
yeah.
But what better way to promote your whiskey than a bunch of recovering alcoholics? Promoting it. So
Yeah.
uh, which is crazy, but I think
Yeah.
we've said that before. When I first heard that, I said, "Wow, why would they even like put their name on that? As much trouble as they've had with alcohol, it's like,
Yeah. James especially, I know.
yeah. So I don't know, man. That's it's all about money, I guess. But I guess they got to have something. I guess they got to have something to fall back on when they're not making music. But
yeah. Yeah, because that $1.2 billion they made off of ticket sales isn't enough money.
I know, right? Like, I mean, they got to split that. They got to split that 4 ways.
Oh yeah, well that's true.
All right, this one kind of interested me, and I'm sure it was interesting to you too, because according to this, we may not have been listening to Machine Head if some other things may have happened. So this one over at Metal Injection, Machine Head and Roadrunner Records split after the band's tour for their 2001 album Supercharger came to an end. Excuse me. The common myth was that Machine Head was dropped, but Rob Flynn said in an interview with Metal Injection that Machine Head actually negotiated off of Roadrunner after the label had breached the contract. Flynn said Machine Head was approached by a number of labels prior to leaving Roadrunner, but noted that none of them came through for the band after they were unsigned. Contrary to popular mythology, Machine Head negotiated off of Roadrunner Records because they had breached contract. We didn't get dropped, which is kind of the story, but we negotiated off because they had breached the contract. At the time, we sold 2 million records at that point. We were a festival headliner, and we can headline our own shows and tours. I was just like, we'll be fine. We got it. You know how the music business is. When you're a fucking hot band, every fucking label is like, you could be with us, man. We'll make you huge, and you're a star. We'll make you even bigger. You hear all that like 150 times, and you're like, yeah, man, let's do it. Of course, all these labels are up my ass. Like, yeah, dude, as soon as you're off that shitty Roadrunner label, we'll sign you right up. We negotiated off. We're clean and free, and I'm like, all right, here I am. Let's do this. And they're like, slow down. We got to hear some demos. Times have changed now. And I'm like, slow down. What the fuck? Okay. Flynn said most labels were looking for radio hits and that the first 5 label rejections were particularly difficult. I'm kind of crushed. I just sold 2 million records. My last record just sold 300,000 copies. So it wasn't a failure by any stretch. Flynn notes that Machine Head was ultimately rejected by 35 labels overall, which made him reconsider his role as a musician. As Machine Head continued their search, Flynn said he considered that it could be the end of his career as a musician. He said one specific instance of a feeling that way was working at a studio watching In Flames during their Clayman era become the next big thing, saying, maybe I'm done, maybe this is it. Rob's wife, Geneva Flynn, and I are having conversations like, maybe this is it, we're done. We just had 35 labels pass on us, let's just give up the dream. Flynn said he and Geneva concluded that there was no other option for Flynn as a career other than being a musician, but notes that his wife did tell him, you got to turn this shit around and start making some money and start doing some stuff because, the bills and the mortgage aren't free. Ain't that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, things turned out for the good for Machine Head. The band would go on to sign with Roadrunner's European label and release Through the Ashes of Empire, which did well enough that Roadrunner's U.S. label came knocking once again. Through the Ashes of Empire was released in the U.S. in 2004, and Machine Head would remain on Roadrunner until 2011 when they signed with Nuclear Blast. And I guess we could say the rest is history because we're still talking about Machine Head today. So,
yes,
yeah. So fortunately,
yeah,
man, I'm so glad that man, things could be so different if that hadn't happened.
Mm-hmm.
So. And I'd hate to be saying that Supercharger was the last time Machine Head made an album. That'd been,
right.
Especially after they had so many good albums after that. But
yeah, so yeah, it just.
And I still think Machine Head's one of those bands that get better, which is kind of crazy. Like we talk about Howard Jones, like how in the hell is he like almost 60 and sound better than he did when he was 30? It's like,
yeah.
But I think Machine Head's one of those few bands that do sound better, like as they go along. So
yeah.
I know a lot of people shit on Catharsis, but I thought that was a great album. So
Yeah, I really liked Catharsis. I was talking to that dude last night when at the show, and he actually mentioned the Machine Head album and talking about it, and then we got to talking about the last few albums before it, and I told him, I said, man, everybody shit on Catharsis, but when Machine Head came out with the Blackening, everything else after it was compared to that, and rightly
Right.
so to a point. But I was telling that guy, it's like everyone wanted another Blackening, but if they would have gotten another Blackening, they would have been pissed because like, oh, you just made another Blackening. You like, what are you trying to do?
Right.
So you can't
Can't please.
win. You can't win one way or the other. So now was Catharsis their best album? No,
Well, no.
it wasn't their best album, but I mean, there were plenty of good songs on Catharsis. It had a slightly different, direction to it, and had a slightly different sound to it. But that doesn't necessarily mean it was bad. Of course, if you're out there listening and you didn't like Catharsis, that's on you. But you're entitled to your opinion, but I just don't think Catharsis deserved as much, criticism as it got, but that being said, it is good that we're able to sit here and still talk about Rob's career and the new album. And yeah, it would have been, I mean, what boggles my 35 labels.
Right.
I mean, seriously, passed on that,
Which makes me wonder, was Nuclear Blast one of them to begin with?
Good question.
Yeah.
I think good question. I don't know, but I mean,
which I'm sure, I'm sure they're better off with Nuclear Blast now than because I not saying Roadrunner is a bad label, but Roadrunner's kind of switched over to more metalcore type bands.
Yeah, they have
nowadays than actual metal bands. So,
well, yeah, that's true. But I mean,
yeah. Same with like Fearless. Fearless Records was kind of the same way. Is you had a lot of like the Ice Nine Kills and bands like that were signed to Fearless at one point. So
yeah. So, it's weird to think that band, as popular as they are and as much good music as they have put out since then, it's kind of the whole revisionist history, or what could have happened, thankfully didn't. The amount of music that we would have missed out on, like you said, had he just decided to just pack it in. So, thankfully, Roadrunner Europe came along when they did. So
right, yeah, which was crazy that the same label, but just a European version of it, picked them up. Then instead of Roadrunner saying, "Hey, we'll make it right," and keeping them on the label, because that's what happened anyway. So they should have made it right. They should have made it right to begin with.
Yeah, they should have. But all right, moving over to the PRP.com. Another member has been revealed for the lineup of the resurrected Divine Heresy. Taking over the drummer position previously held by Tim Young and John Sankey will be Decrepit Birth's touring drummer Gabe Seaver. Divine Heresy mastermind Dino Cazares, also of Fear Factory, in case you didn't know, confirmed the news recently during his appearance on Hatebreed, etc. frontman Jamie Josta's The Josta Show. Earlier this summer, Cazares revealed that he's bringing back the group, having enlisted once and Hart on vocals. Hart's addition to the outfit followed her audition to be Fear Factory's new vocalist. When she didn't land that role, another individual did, with Cazares planning to publicly name him around February of next year. So, we're going to keep an eye on, Divine Heresy, and obviously, I'm sure a lot of you are anxious to hear who the new Fear Factory lead singer is going to be, and I am too. It's one of those things that's kind of dragging on, but I kind of like the fact that it hasn't leaked out, because, Dino obviously doesn't want it to be out there, and I'm glad no one has spilled the beans, because, the anticipation is great. So when the announcement's finally made, it'll be huge. So I hope the news doesn't leak out ahead of time, because if Dino wants to announce the new singer in February, I hope that's when he's able to announce it himself. Nobody else, fucks that up for him. So.
Well, I mean, if you keep it on, down low and don't tell anybody at all, then who's going to know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm kind of interested in that too, to see how, how that's going to change Fear Factory sound and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, I still think the last album was some of Burton C. Bell's best vocals. So
Yeah. Ironically enough.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because
Hey,
I want to put out this masterpiece and then fuck you.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna bounce. Yeah.
All right. This is my last one, actually, from over at Metal Sucks. There's really cool vinyl releases with all different types of color variants and even cannabis leaves pressed into it. But one band is taking things to extreme by offering a set of extra thick boys that you can use as a guitar pedal. Okay. Indianapolis-based rock band Brother Oh Brother may have just released their newest album, Skinwalker, last week, but that doesn't mean they don't have at least one more release trick up their sleeves. By joining forces with Romanos Records and Audio Disruption Devices, the band's latest offering is being sold as a set of 2 super thick LPs that will each house the electronics for fully functioning guitar effects pedals. One LP will be a delay pedal, and the other one will have the guts of a boost pedal. The various knobs and on and off button are located on the center label. Even though they can help you pump out some tasty riffs, the vinyl still play Brother Oh Brother's music. However, if you want to listen to the album as intended, you're going to want to adjust the tone arm to accommodate the record's extra thickness. As a result of being able to help you get tasty riffs out in an extremely novel way, representatives said the new release was quite possibly the thickest LPs ever out in production. These extra special vinyl pressings will be limited to 35 units and will be on sale today at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time via the Romanus website. So there you go. So if you got plans today at 3 p.m. Eastern, then and you can get in on the 35 available units. It didn't say how much they are, so it's kind of. I guess I probably could have researched that a little bit more. I didn't even realize the price wasn't in there. So
yeah.
I imagine it's going to be a little pricey if they're being able to be used as pedals as well. So
probably. Yeah.
But that's kind of an interesting. It's going to be kind of an interesting vinyl to be able to be used as a pedal along with still being able to play it, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Put it on the turntable and then and then make some music with
it. Yeah.
Well, what'll they think of next?
Oh God, don't ask.
I know. All right, move. I've got 2 more. One of them will be one of them will be real quick. So I'm going to read this other one real quick before that. Going over to metalinjection.net. Century Media announced earlier this week and progressive thrash act Vector. At the time, Century Media noted that Vector would be recording their 4th album with the label and would be hitting the road in Europe later this year. Quote, "We are extremely pleased to announce that Vector has signed with Century Media Records," said the label at the time. "They have long been on our radar, and we couldn't be happier for this new partnership. Recording of our 4th studio album has commenced, and we have set the bar very high for ourselves once again. We are eager to begin the next phase of our global takeover with such a legendary record label. On the heels of this amazing news, we cannot wait to begin our European tour this fall at a 6-year hiatus. See you out there, Vectonauts," end quote. The signing caused a substantial amount of backlash, giving accusations and video of Vector frontman David DeSanto assaulting his wife in 2019. At the time, DeSanto's wife noted that she was in a long legal battle against David, and while David denied the claims, David denied the claims. Vector originally went on hiatus in 2016 when everyone quit the band and reformed in 2020 as an independent band, with the response being mixed. Of course, some fans were very happy about Vector returning, while plenty of others weren't thrilled that DeSanto had returned to music. Now, in a quick reversal, Century Media, they've parted ways with Vector. The label offered no additional comment on the decision other than on their Instagram, where they noted, quote unquote, "Effective immediately, Century Media has decided to part ways with Vector." The label has limited commenting on the post because really, what else is there to say at this point? Fans were pissed, and who knows if Century Media was aware of the situation. All we know for certain is that Vector is once again an independent band. So
it may not be a bad thing. It's like a lot of the bands that are recently gone independent seem like they were doing better than they were when they were on the label. So
yeah, but who knows what's gonna, now that they're independent, who knows what's gonna happen though with all these, all this legal stuff. They may end up having to find they may have a new singer if they're gonna, make any. They're going to make any more music, because if the backlash was that loud, then if they make another album with the same singer, it may not even go anywhere. So
I think the thing that surprises me, especially going to the festivals, is like you'll have, especially like say the Non-Point set. Non-Point's been around 20 plus years. Mm-hmm. So for people to still be like, oh, this is the first time I've seen Non-Point, and I mean, there was a lot of fucking people at that spot that had said that was the first time they had witnessed Non-Point. So it's kind of like, wow, that's pretty wild to still be having that many people turn on to your music after 20 years. It's kind of like, wow. But
hell, I still haven't had a chance to see them live yet.
Yeah, and then the same thing with like Hatebreed and bands like that we're saying, oh, hey, it's the first time, which that's the first time I've seen Hatebreed that I can remember. They may have been on Ozfest, but like I said, that was back in my partying days, so I don't remember much. I don't remember much of. I remember Ozzy was there, and I think Sepultura was at the one that I was at, and that's about as Slayer was there. So as far as that, I don't really remember. Biohazard, maybe. Yeah. So,
are you trying to say you've had some foggy festivals?
Yeah, back in my younger days, yes. So that's one of the reasons why we go to these ones now, and I'm like, well, at least if nothing else, I'll remember them because I don't.
You're right. Yeah.
So
that's important.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, we do certain things that like I said, we talked about before, not really on the show, but we've mentioned before. I won tickets from a Metallica story that we set the blankets on fire, and was during them playing Jump in the Fire. So we was in a grass seated area, and everybody was setting shit on fire. So we was like, yeah, we ain't got nothing, but we'll set our blankets on fire. Fuck it. So, memorable moment, of a show. But, like I said, I've actually won concert tickets for that story, which is kind of wild. But I think maybe actually you called that out to me. He was like, hey, did you just win tickets? And I'm like, I don't know, did I? And he's like, did you have a story about burning some blankets at a Metallica show? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I think you just won tickets, dude. So I was like, so I had to message them, or it was actually on one of their posts, and I said, yeah, I think I may have won some tickets, and then they private messaged me. He was
there you go.
They was like, hey, yeah, do you have the story about the Metallica thing? I was like, yeah. Or they asked me what my story was about, and I told them. They said, yeah, you got tickets waiting for you at so and so. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But
nice.
Yeah, so I mean, it was like to a Chicago show or something. So I didn't really go, but I gave them to somebody. I gave them to somebody that would enjoy it. So
right. Well, everybody knows if you've seen Little Nicky, you got to play Chicago backwards.
Yeah. Sounds more metal that way, I guess. But.
All right, and back over to the PRP for my last one. King Diamond is set for another entry in Super 7's Ultimates figurines line. The new 7-inch action figure version of the revered Merciful Fate vocalist isn't expected out until the fall of 2023, but pre-orders can be placed now here. Hyperlink in the story. According to Super 7, quote, in 1982, Merciful Fate embarked on their first mini tour of Europe. The tour introduced King Diamond to the heavy metal world and launched him as an icon who has influenced countless metal fans and bands. Where it began, the latest 7-inch scale Ultimates King Diamond features premium paint and details, interchangeable heads and hands, his trademark crossbones mic stand, a soft goods robe that replicates the one he wore on stage on that debut tour, and is packaged in a collector-friendly deluxe window box with a slip case cover. If you missed it the first time around, you can get a look at his previous Ultimates figurine.
Looks like Chris may have froze up on us here. So looks like Chris may have froze up on us here. he is actually out of the thing now. So, yeah. So I don't know what happened there. So I'm sure he will be back in just a second. And we will let him finish up his story. So, sharing out, family. Hey, thanks for doing that, William. I appreciate that. Yeah, sorry for the Chris. I don't know what happened there. So like I said, we'll stand by for just a minute, and if he don't come back here, I'll head on over to Hitting the Road for a minute, and then see if he can get back on here. Oh, yeah, he's working on it. So, so it must have been an internet flaw there. So, I'm sure we never have those anyway, right? All right. Yep, there he comes.
Here I am.
Hey, there he is.
Yep, there I am.
I had to make sure it wasn't me that time. I was like, nope.
My fucking Wi-Fi took a shit again for a second.
I said, no, I'm still moving on the page over here. So, and I don't know if you seen where William Bishop's actually shared out the stream there. So.
Yeah, I actually did just see that. William, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know if you wanted to start back over with that story, or if you.
Well, I mean, I guess I can.
Yeah, we got like I don't know, 3 or 4 lines in. I don't know. Hey, sepsis is on.
Sepsis. Hell yeah, man. All right. I mean, it was a quick story. I can read through it again real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, King Diamond is set for another entry in Super 7's Ultimates Figures line. The new 7-inch action figure version of the revered Merciful Fate vocalist isn't expected out until the fall of 23, but pre-orders can be placed now here. Hyperlink in the story.
Or is it nowhere? Is it nowhere or now here?
No, it's not now here.
Little love guru for you guys.
I know, yeah. According to Super 7, quote, in 1982, Merciful Fate embarked on their first mini tour of Europe. The tour introduced King Diamond to the heavy metal world and launched him as an icon who has influenced countless metal fans and bands. This is where it began. The latest 7-inch scale Ultimates King Diamond features premium paint and details, interchangeable heads and hands, his trademark crossed bones mic stand, a soft goods robe that replicates the one he wore on stage on that debut tour, and is packaged in a collector-friendly deluxe window box with a slipcase cover. And I'm surprised that they don't well, I guess this will be it unboxed. It doesn't have a picture of it in a box, so that's what it'll look like right there. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. If you missed it the first time around, you can get a look at his previous Ultimates figure here. Another hyperlink in the story. Merciful Fate will be out on their first North American tour in decades this fall with Creator at Midnight. And I think it was either last week or the week before we actually announced those tour dates. So, right. We did shout those out. You can go, but of course you can, if you want to read this story, they're down at the bottom. Oh shit. Hang on. I'm sorry. Here's another picture.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, there's another picture. So yeah, very cool for all you collectors out there.
I was actually at the Replay toy store up in Murfreesboro, and seen a King Diamond figure in there. And I thought, man, if I was a King Diamond fan, I would probably snatch that up. But they actually had like an Ozzy and I want to say Misfits. There was like 2 or 3 other ones in that lineup, but King Diamond was the only one they had, unfortunately. So
yeah. Well, I remember talking about them coming out with a Lemmy one relatively soon too. So that one will be out there.
Yeah. So it just like I don't know. It just like it just makes me warm all over when I see like the bands that we talked to, and they're still promoting us and watching us.
I know.
So cool. Like we share their stuff a lot too. Sepsis and Devils, and they hear a lot. And one of the last is in here. I don't know if they're in here as much, but I know he contacts me a lot on social media. And then of course Eyes of the Living is very active on our page. So it's so cool to see. I think that's one of the things that I like about this is creating a musical relationship with those guys too. And it's just so awesome to be able to, say months later down the road that, they could have just easily did the interview and said, we're done, that's it, and kept moving on. But they still stick around. That means a lot,
Yeah, it does. It really does.
And like I said, you're not going to find anybody that wants you to succeed more than William Savant from Sepsis. I mean, that dude.
I'm telling you what.
That dude will help you, and like he does so much. Like I seen him post on a post, and he said somebody was talking about touring the area. Like, I wish we could tour up there or something like that. And William's like, dude, we'll open for you. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's just how he is. He's not like, hey, he's like, man, we mainstage a lot of shit. So, if it's to help somebody else get out there, we'll open, for you. Like, and that's so cool,
Yeah, I remember.
Very humble guy, man.
Yeah, so. I remember seeing
very passionate but humble.
Well, I mean, that's what you can definitely be both. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what exactly. Yeah. So
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people's like, oh, well, you can't. You got to be like either so serious about shit, or or you just got to have a good time. Like, no, you can do both. You can be serious about what you do and still have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a good time here, but I mean, we're serious about what we do. This is, we enjoy this, and we'd like to blow it up to something bigger. But, but we enjoy doing it, so that's the main thing. Like, if you don't enjoy doing what you're, that's one of the things. Like, just take like a job that you would make a lot of money at, doctor or lawyer or something, where you just know you're making money. You don't really enjoy that job. You're just doing it for the money. And it's like, these people are out here having fun on stage. We're having fun here, and like, we're doing it. We're not making any money right now. I mean, maybe someday, hopefully, but these guys are out here, doing shows, having the time of their fucking life, having a blast doing it, and they enjoy doing it. And that makes so much difference in what you do. Like, to me, if I was musically talented and still working 9 to 5 and still able to go and do shows, I mean, I would like, so much more enjoy the shows, of course, but
well, it would make having to work that 9 to 5 a little bit more bearable anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the bands the bands we've talked to, Source of Rage, they've got 9 to 5s. Extinction AD, those guys have 9 to 5s. So not everyone's to a point in their musical careers where they can just focus on that. Now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to help bands like that get to a point where their musical careers can be their 9 to 5. If we help out with that at all, then we are grateful that
we've done what we set out to do. So
absolutely.
Whether we make a dime at it or not, we've done what we set out to do. So
yeah.
All
but
right.
That was it for all my current events.
All right, so I only have one Hitting the Road concert to announce.
Okay.
I'm sure you got more than that, but
I actually do.
I only have the one, so
that's fine. I have a little bit more extensive.
So I'll knock it out real quick.
All right,
and I guess you can imagine why I picked this one, but Corrosion of Conformity, Spirit Adrift, and the Native Howl will hit the road to bring you all the country riffs this November, starting November 10th in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at Chelsea's Live, and that will end off on November 27th in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the Pyramid Scheme. So I'm not sure. I think there was a Knoxville show on that list, I think. Memphis, yeah, I knew it was a ways away, but but yeah, so they'll be kind of close, but not close enough for me to travel. But
right, they're gonna be in Memphis, Tennessee at Growlers on November 13th.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it'd be cool.
Yeah, Spirit Adrift has been in Tennessee, but they haven't been.
I know, in Nashville.
They haven't been to Nashville yet. So they've been in the state, but they haven't been to Nashville yet.
So come on to Nashville.
They're getting closer. They're getting closer.
I don't get copyright strikes for you to go to Memphis, dude. Like, come on.
That's right. Dude, if they ever come to Nashville and we get a chance to talk to them, you gotta tell them that we use their intro and that it gets a copyright strike every time. I'm sure they would fucking laugh. They'd probably
Sony releases it, so
they'd probably laugh their asses off.
Probably, yeah. And if you guys haven't checked out this band called the Native Howl, they were actually on that show with Alex Cooper and Lizzie Hale. I can't remember the name of it now. It was like that show where they were.
Yeah, I never did watch that show.
Yeah, I watched the first part of it. I haven't got to the second round of it, but I watched the first round of it, and they were on there, and they were a bluegrass thrash metal band. And they created their new like we talked about that with Extinction AD, where people are just mashing up genres, and like that was the most interesting. Like when they first said that, I'm like, dude, that does not even like sound good. But like when they started playing, I'm like, holy shit, this works. It's like it's so crazy. And they called it thrash grass. So I mean, if nothing else, they're gonna be responsible for creating the thrash grass genre. So
yeah.
So and they're actually a pretty decent band. So so it would be that's a pretty good lineup, I think. So if anybody's in that area can check that concert out, I'd suggest do so.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But that was the only one I had. So
okay, all right. Well, I definitely have more this week. I was surprised at how short the list was last week. I didn't even need a full page, which was the first time we've had that happen. So, for the week of the 10th to the 16th, starting off over at the PRP, we have Artificial Brains, Succumb, and Luminous Vault going out. Very, very quick run. I think it might just be basically a long weekend. Starting November 3rd in Brooklyn, New York at St. Vitus Bar, finishing November 11th in Washington, D.C. at the Pie Shop. No Nashville date for that tour. Then we have Allegayon going on a European and UK tour with their original vocalist Ezra Haynes returning to the group.
That's interesting.
That bill is going to include Rivers of Nile, Fallujah, Inferi, and Harbinger. Starting November 11th in Oberhausen, Germany at Cult Temple, finishing December 3rd in Aarschot, Belgium at De Klinker Club. Then Powerman 5000 is going on a West Coast tour in October, starting October 19th in Sacramento, California at Goldfield Trading Post, finishing October 28th in West Hollywood, California at the Whiskey A Go-Go. Obviously no Nashville date because they're just staying out west.
Right.
Then We Came as Romans are going to perform their new album Dark Bloom in full at 2 shows in Detroit. Oh, wow. October 12th in Detroit at the Loving Touch, and then the next night in Detroit, as I said, October 13th at The Shelter.
That's pretty interesting because usually you don't hear bands like playing their new album in its entirety. It's always like
I know
anniversary. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like
different. So.
Yeah, so that'll be cool if you guys are up there at mid October. Then we have Carnifex, Chelsea Grin, Body Snatcher, Varials, and The Convalescence going on a European and UK tour starting November 27th in Karlsruhe, Germany at Weiss Rose, finishing December 20th in München, Germany at Backstage. Then we have Paul Bearer and Stygian Bow going on a West Coast tour in the fall, starting December 2nd in San Diego, California at Brick by Brick, finishing December 9th in Seattle, Washington at Substation. No Nashville date, being a West Coast tour. Then we have Census Fail going out on tour with Like Moths to Flames and Can't Swim, starting November 4th in Denver, Colorado at Summit, finishing November 11th in Brooklyn, New York at Elsewhere. Then they will be with Magnolia Park and Can't Swim, starting November 12th in Somerville, Massachusetts at the Crystal Ballroom at Somerville Theater, finishing November 19th in Orlando, Florida at the House of Blues. Then they will be with Oxymorons and Can't Swim, starting December 12th in Austin, Texas at Mohawk. They will be finishing the tour in its entirety December 18th in Roseville, California at the Goldfield Trading Post. There are no Nashville dates with any of those lineups. Then new dates have been added to the Between the Buried and Me UK and European tour with Haken and Cryptodira. Those new dates are March 28th in Aarhus, Denmark at Vauxhall, March 29th in Oslo, Norway at Rockefeller, March 30th in Copenhagen, Denmark at Pumphuset Kransal, March 31st in Stockholm, Sweden at Frihuset Klubben, April 2nd in Tampere, Finland, and Olympia Cortelli. I think I'm doing okay so far. April 3rd in Helsinki, Finland. This one's going to fuck me up. At Vanha, Ilipoli Lastalo. Okay. And then, And then April 5th in Gothenburg, Sweden at Pustervik. Then those are the new dates that have been added to the tour.
No.
Then we have the Callous Dowboys October, going on a headlining tour in October, starting October 21st in West Palm Beach, Florida at Respectables, and rounding out on October 30th in Gainesville, Florida at The Fest. No Nashville date for that tour. Then, Jason, you may have seen this. Fozzy is postponing the remainder of their tour due to the ongoing larynx injury that Chris Jericho suffered in AEW.
No, I did not see that. That's
okay.
I mean, that's one of the things like I always worried about with them was Jericho getting hurt in the ring and not being able to perform. So
yeah.
So I think hopefully this may make him pick a side. So
Well, it might. It might. The rescheduled dates are Thursday, April 13th in Charlotte, North Carolina at Underground, Friday, April 14th in Baltimore, Maryland at Soundstage, Saturday, April 15th in Syracuse, New York at Lost Horizon, Sunday, April 16th in Philadelphia at Brooklyn Bowl, and Monday, April 17th in Virginia Beach, Virginia at Elevation 27. Due to scheduling conflicts, Montreal, Toronto, Richmond, Lowell, and Albany dates will not be rescheduled. So for fans who have tickets to those 5 shows, will need to, contact the venue for the refund. So it's unfortunate for those 5 cities, but the 5 cities that will be rescheduled, good for them. Just hold on to your tickets. Then we have Era, Silent Planet, Invent, Animate, and Sentinels going on a European and UK tour starting February 24th, 23 in Cologne, Germany at Essig Fabric, finishing March 19th in Tilburg, Netherlands at 013. Moving over to Blabbermouth, I have Exciter and Night Cobra going out on tour starting October 26th in Chicago, Illinois at Reggie's, finishing November 4th in Los Angeles, California at Don Quixote. No Nashville date there.
I haven't heard that Exciter name in a while. So
I know, I haven't either. Then Obsessed is canceling their September 20th show in San Francisco due to a COVID requirement, a COVID vaccine requirement. So they are not going to play in a city and a venue that discriminates in any way. That is actually a quote from the band from that story. So good for them. Yeah, just like, fuck you. So,
well, I mean, we've said before, like, we don't get political on here, but I think we all have our freedoms to do what we want to do. So I mean, if you don't want to go, don't go. If you want to go, go. I mean, that's
exactly. Yeah. Then last but not least, we have the Black Dahlia Murder. They are returning to the stage in Detroit, Michigan at St. Andrews Hall on October 28th with support from Darkest Hour and Plague Years. So that will be their first live show since the death of Trevor Sternad. So,
and I have seen a lot of I was trying to remember. I remember seeing a story where somebody was doing a tribute to him coming up. So in like a video or something, I can't remember. Like I said, we read those through so much, I can't remember everything.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so you talked about Trevor, and then you just talked about Soulworks guitarist that passed away, and it's like, man, this end of the year, when we come to the end of the year, talking about the deaths throughout the year, it's going to be just. I mean, it's going to be just crazy to think that, all those people that were like younger and gone way before their time is going to be on that list. It's just crazy.
I know.
Was that it for Hitting the Road?
Yeah. Okay. That was it. That was the end of the Hitting the Road segment for the 10th through the 16th.
Yeah. I would say I did catch Era at the Blue Ridge Festival. Man, they put on a pretty good show. So.
Did they?
Yeah, it was really good. So I tell you what, like the band that really surprised me there more than anybody was Brand of Sacrifice, and like their lead singer does all of the vocals for that band, and I was just like, holy shit, this dude does some Johanna stuff from Avatar. It's like he goes from to it's like, wow, how does he do that? Like, holy shit, like in an instant, dude, just like
right.
I'm just like, dude, that's crazy. Because I mean, if you listen to it, you're thinking, oh, that's some backup guy, singing that part, or like a lot of times when you look at Kill, you hear Kill Switch, a lot of the deep gutturals are from Adam. It's not really from Jesse. So, if you don't see that live, then you may not know that. But see it, like I said, a lot of times when you see something live, like that's what I like about live. It's like a lot of times if you can't distinctively hear that on like an album or something, or you don't see a video, then you don't know. So if
Mhm.
you see it live and you're like, oh shit, he actually does that part, or it's like, oh shit, I did, because like whenever I first seen Avatar, I didn't realize Johannes did all of that himself, and I'm just like, how in the hell does dude go from like 3 different pitches in the same song? I'll never freaking know, but that is just fucking amazing to me how
Yeah,
they do that.
I know. It's talent, man. It's talent.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, I'm not a big Brand of Sacrifice fan, but I do like some of their stuff. And like I was like, well, I'll go catch them because there really wasn't anything else that interested me during that time slot.
Right.
And I was just like, man, I was so amazed at like the vocalist doing all that. I'm just like, dude, I didn't know he could do all that. That's crazy.
Mhm.
All right, I guess we will kick over into some metal history
Yep.
from the 11th through the 17th. So September 11th, 2001, I know this isn't metal, but I thought this was kind of interesting because I never, if I've read this before, I didn't remember reading it before. So September 11th, 2001, which we can verify this with your daughter because I know she's a big My Chemical Romance fan. So,
Yeah.
so walking to work in New York, and I as a comic book illustrator, Gerard Way witnessed the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Center. The day's events inspired him to start a band, which became My Chemical Romance, with Way becoming their lead singer. So, it's kind of crazy to get inspiration from to start a band from that.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, I guess that kind of like would uh, would explain a lot of their topics in their songs, I guess. But September 12th, 2013, Ray Dolby, the engineer who founded Dolby Laboratories and pioneered noise reduction in audio recordings, died of leukemia at age 80. The analog Dolby noise reduction system works by increasing the volume of low-level, high-frequency sounds during recording and correspondingly reducing them during playback. So definitely a pioneer in the industry of recording for sure. So,
Oh, absolutely.
uh, September 12th, 1989. This was kind of interesting to me, too. So, Aerosmith released Pump, their 10th studio album, which featured the hit singles Love in an Elevator, The Other Side, and Janie's Got a Gun. But Aerosmith found themselves in law school textbooks after a small rock band named Pump sued Aerosmith's management company for service mark infringement, although Aerosmith won the case. So, there you go. So it's kind of like how many rock bands are. Well, I mean, I guess you could say there probably should be a few in the law books after D. Snyder handed them their ass. That.
Yep.
but there's probably not many rock metal bands in the law books. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
September
I mean,
13th. Yeah. Well,
it's just. I mean, pump was the name of the album. I mean,
right.
pump is a word in the American language for fuck's sake. I mean, it's like,
It's stupid.
I mean, it's, I mean,
Plus, you're just a small rock band trying to get some money to boost yourself or get your name in a spotlight to boost your.
it's just. I mean, I guess you technically can try to sue for everything, but should
Oh
you?
yeah, well, it's true.
Come on, man.
All right, September 2005, the home where Jimi Hendrix grew up in Seattle was saved from demolition after a new location was agreed upon at the last minute. The James Marshall Hendrix Foundation and the city of Seattle agreed to renovate the building into a community center opposite the cemetery where the guitarist was buried in 1970. So pretty cool. Like I always like hearing stuff where like something gets saved, unlike the Vinnie Paul house, of course, but which is still pisses me off. But
Mm-hmm.
but you know can't you can't say anything about the people because they buy it. They can do what they want to with it, I guess. But,
Well, I mean, yeah.
there was so much opportunity with that though that they probably could have made a lot of money, but I'd have turned that into a Pantera bed and breakfast. Fuck that.
Yeah.
uh, September 14th, 2008, Iron Maiden singer Bruce Dickinson was one of the pilots who flew specially chartered flights after 85,000 tourists were stranded in the U.S., the Caribbean, Africa, and Europe after Britain's third largest tour operator went into administration. The singer, who had worked for the airline Asturias for 9 years, took up flying during a low point in his solo career after he quit the band in '93. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, Bruce Dickinson is always doing some pretty cool shit, man. Like I don't know if that dude's pretty freaking like flexible with the shit he does. It's like
Mm-hmm.
pilot and singer and avid runner and bicycle rider and whatever. Like
Yeah, he's another one of those guys where it's like you wonder when he finds time to fucking sleep.
yeah, right.
He's always doing something. That
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. He's a high strung guy though. So
Yeah, he is. I hope I have that much energy when I'm pushing fucking 70. Jesus
Oh
Christ.
shit. Yeah, he. I remember reading where he had the Download Festival wasn't even taking place that year during COVID, and he invited everybody out to a bike ride to ride to it anyway, because that was like their thing was they did the bike ride. He said, "Hey, the festival's not happening, but let's do the bike ride anyway." And I think they did a bunch of stuff and raised money for charity doing it. So
yeah, that's right, they did. Yeah.
So good on him for
Yeah.
And like I said, hopefully, there's still talks about the Judas Priest Iron Maiden tour because Bruce, definitely wants to tour with Rob. So, with both of Iron Maiden just came out the album, Judas Priest looking at 2023. Hopefully, that may come to fruition next year because I will definitely be there. I
was about to say, count me in for sure. Absolutely.
I'll replace that. I'll replace Festival for that any day. So,
yeah.
It's like two iconic bands, and I have never seen either one. So there you go. I don't know why. I just never played out, I guess. But
yep.
September 15th, 2019, the Cook Islands, a nation of the South Pacific, released 2 silver coins to honor the 2 classic AC/DC albums. The band's landmark 1981 album, For Those About to Rock We Salute You, was honored on a $2 coin, while 1990's The Razor's Edge could be found on a $10 coin. Both featured a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the reverse side. Well, there you go. now it's even worth more money. So there you go.
Yeah. Yep.
If you got one, you better hang on to it. So.
Yeah, you should.
Especially, since Malcolm Young is no longer with AC/DC, and he was on both of those albums, and then Queen Elizabeth just passed away. So,
yep,
there you go. Like I said, it's always crazy how you're worth more dead than alive. So, this thing.
Yep.
September 17th, 1991, over 4 million copies of Guns N' Roses' album Use Your Illusion 1 and Use Your Illusion 2 were simultaneously released for retail sale, making it the largest ship out in history in the U.S. So, pretty interesting there. And that was all of the history news that I had there. So,
all right. I'll let. Well, I mean. We'll figure it out together. But I actually have the last 2 weeks of releases. I know we didn't do last week because we were on kind of like a timetable there. So I have the last 2 weeks of releases. But if you want, I can just do the last week. I don't care either.
It doesn't matter either way. I actually have forgotten about that, so I didn't do the week before. So.
Well, I mean, you were at Blue Ridge, so that's cool. But I was just going through.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I forgot that we didn't do the history last week, or I would have went back another week. But it's all good.
Okay,
so whatever you want to do, I'm okay with. So.
Okay, well, I mean, this usually doesn't take super duper long to run through, so I'll maybe pick up the pace a little. So, this is the historical album released for the last 2 weeks, starting off on September 3rd, 2021. Iron Maiden releases their 17th studio album, Senjutsu, which peaked at number 3 on the Billboard 200, an album that Jason just alluded to. September 3rd, 1991, XYZ releases their 2nd studio album, Hungry. September 3rd, 2001, Cataclysm releases their 5th studio album, Epic, The Poetry of War. Moving ahead to the 4th, September 4th, 2006, Vader releases their 7th studio album, Impressions in Blood, and Delane releases their debut studio album, Lucidity. September 4th, 1999, Sonata Arctica releases their debut studio album, Elliptica. September 4th, 2009, Gotthard releases their 9th studio album, Need to Believe, which peaked at number 1 on the Swiss charts. September 4th, 2014, Manila Road releases their 18th studio album, To Kill a King. And September 4th, 2001, System of a Down releases their 2nd studio album, Toxicity, which peaked at number 1 on the Billboard 200. September 5th, 1987, Alice Cooper releases his 10th solo studio album, Raise Your Fist and Yell. And Y&T releases their 8th studio album, Contagious, which peaked at number 78 on the Billboard 200. September 5th, 2007, Hanoi Rocks releases their 8th and final studio album, Street Poetry. Moving ahead, September 6th, 2019, Sonata Arctica releases their 10th studio album, Talvio. September 6, 1989, Faster Pussycat releases their second studio album, Wake Me When It's Over, which peaked at number 48 on the Billboard 200. September 6, 1994, Body Count releases their second studio album, Born Dead, which peaked at number 74 on the Billboard 200. Moving ahead to the 7th, September 7th, 1999, Steve Vai releases his 6th studio album, The Ultrazone, and Riot releases their 11th studio album, Sons of Society. September 7th, 2007, Iced Earth releases their 8th studio album, Framing Armageddon, Something Wicked Part 1. September 7th, 2010, Stone Sour releases their 3rd studio album, Audio Secrecy, which debuted at number 6 on the Billboard 200. Moving ahead to the 8th, September 8th, 2003, Dimmu Borgir releases their 6th studio album, Death Cult Armageddon, which debuted at number 169 on the Billboard 200. September 8th, 2005, After Forever releases their 4th studio album, Reimagine. September 8th, 2017, Lynch Mob releases their 8th studio album, The Brotherhood, and Living Color releases their 6th studio album, Shade. September 10th, moving ahead a couple of days, September 10th, 1991, Tesla releases their 3rd studio album, Psychotic Supper. Moving ahead, September 11th, 2015, Leaves Eyes releases their 6th studio album, King of Kings. September 11th, 2019, Crash Diet releases their 5th studio album, Rust. September 11th, 1990, Firehouse releases their self-titled debut studio album. And September 11th, 2020, Marilyn Manson releases his 11th studio album, We Are Chaos, which debuted at number 8 on the Billboard 200. Moving ahead to the 12th, September 12th, 1975, Thin Lizzy releases their 5th studio album, Fighting. September 12th, 1997, Dimmu Borgir releases their debut studio album, For All Tid. I don't know what that means. September 12th, 1995, Vince Neil releases his 2nd solo studio album, Carved in Stone, which peaked at number 139 on the Billboard 200. September 12th, 2005, Parkway Drive releases their debut studio album, Killing with a Smile. And November, September 12th. I always try to read 2 months ahead. I don't know. Right? Last week I was like talking about October. I don't know why I always do that. September 12th, 2006, Papa Roach releases their 5th studio album, The Paramore Sessions, which peaked at number 16 on the Billboard 200.
It looks like Partway Drive likes this weekend releases. So
yeah. Just wait. Not Papa Roach, but you just wait. There's another band that loves September. You'll see. Moving ahead to the 13th, September 13th, 1989, Lee Aaron releases her 5th studio album, Body Rock. September 13th, 2004, Winter Sun releases their self-titled debut studio album. September 13th, 1984, Kiss releases their 12th studio album, Animalize. September 13th, 2005, Brides of Destruction released their 2nd studio album, Runaway Brides. September 13th, 2000, Nevermore releases their 4th studio album, Dead Heart in a Dead World. That is such a good album. September 13th, 1988, Suicidal Tendencies released their 3rd studio album, How Will I Live Tomorrow When I Can't Even Smile Today. And moving ahead to the 14th, this is what I was telling you about. September 14th, 2007, Elvin King releases their 4th studio album, The Scythe. September 14th, 2012, Elvin King releases their 7th studio album, Era. Vision Divine releases their 7th studio album, Destination to Nowhere. September 14th, 2011, Opeth releases their 10th studio album, Heritage. September 14th, 2005, Children of Bodom released their 5th studio album, Are You Dead Yet? And September 14th, 1992, Great White releases their 6th studio album, Psycho City. Moving ahead to 15th, September 15th, 1998, Bruce Dickinson releases his 5th solo studio album, The Chemical Wedding. September 15th, 2009, Ace Frehley releases his 5th solo studio album, Anomaly. Living Color releases their 5th studio album, The Chair in the Doorway. September 15th, 2017, Steelheart releases their 5th studio album, Through Worlds of Stardust. September 15th, 1999, Mr. Big releases their 5th studio album, Get Over It. And September 15th, 1998, Marilyn Manson releases his 3rd studio album. Whoa, where did I go? Marilyn Manson releases his 3rd studio album, Mechanical Animals, which debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. Moving ahead, September 16th, 2016, Temperance releases their 3rd studio album, The Earth Embraces Us All. September 16th, 2003, Perfect Circle releases their 2nd studio album, 13th Step, which debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200. September 16th, 1996, Vicious Rumors released their 6th studio album, Something Burning. And September 16th, 2008, All That Remains released their 4th studio album, Overcome. Moving ahead to today's date, September 17th, 1989, Loudness releases their 8th studio album, Soldier of Fortune. September 17th, 2010, Elven King releases their 6th studio album, Red Silent Tides. September 17th, 2021, Rage releases their 25th studio album, Resurrection Day. I mentioned that album earlier in the show. And Carcass releases Torn Arteries. And last but not least, September 17th, 2002, Disturbed releases Believe. So, yep. So those are the historical releases for the last 2 weeks. This week in this week's in metal history.
Yeah. Speaking of Disturbed, they did a really good. They did a really good job on their show at Blue Ridge. They did a tribute out to the 9/11 because they actually performed on 9/11. So
yeah,
so that was pretty cool that they did that. So.
Oh, and I just saw this one. No, shit, this one's on Twitter, but this is one I guarantee you. This is one I had last year. Yeah, it is. Ozzy Osbourne releases No More Tears. So
yeah.
Yep.
Well, you always got to talk about that one. Though.
Yeah,
there's better albums.
Yeah, peaked at number 7 on the Billboard 200. So
yeah, I think that one, and then like Osmosis, and then kind of after that, he kind of changed up the sound a little bit. But,
yeah, a little bit.
Those 2 albums were pretty solid. So
yeah, agreed.
Yeah. All right, next we will go into our top 10, and then I'm going to share last week's top 10 real quick. And then,
nice. Yeah, we'll definitely put that up there on the screen for everybody.
Yeah, that was like a harder one, but like it still wound up being a pretty good one. So
yeah.
Then of course I thought of stuff after the fact, so I added it in. So
oh, we'll see. There you go. Yeah. That's totally fine. It definitely works. All right, so there is the top 10 playlist from
Wild West.
Yep. The Wild West.
Wild West. Yeah. So this week was top 10 metal songs. We decided we were going to do Water this week. So I don't know what are we thinking, but.
Well, we're thinking we're running out of shit to do, running out of topics to do. That's what we're thinking. Because we just got to try to make it through the end of 2022 with these specific topics. Because I think we have already decided that once 2023 starts, we're just going to start at the beginning of the alphabet. Because that'll take us halfway through 2023.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
anyway,
we will.
This week's, I got next week's. I'm going to talk about it too. Go ahead and talk about it after we do this one.
Oh shit! Okay.
So,
nice.
You'll see why here in a minute. So,
all right.
So top 10 metal songs this week from as a Water, and I did add a couple of extra ones in here because I wasn't at least one or two of them. I thought we may have an overlap. So
yeah. So. All right.
If I quit hitting my mouse and putting stuff in my way here. Top 10 metal songs, Water. First one I took was Pantera, Drag the Waters from the Great Southern Trendkill of '96. Went with Band on the second one. Band Oceans took the song The Awakening, and that was from Hell is Where the Heart Is, Part 1. That was from earlier this year. Then third one I took was Breaking Benjamin, Red Cold River from Ember 2018. Then I took Ice Nine Kills, Rockin' the Boat from the Silver Screen 2018. This one kind of a double hitter here. So I did Crystal Lake and the song Open Water from the Voyages re-recorded 2020. Then I took Partway Drive, The River from Atlas 2012. Then I took Flotsam and Jetsam, Blood in the Water from Blood in the Water 2021. Then I took In This Moment, River of Fire from Ritual 2017.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then I took Ginger, Bad Water from Cloud Factory reissue 2018. Then I took Bullet for My Valentine, Hell or High Water from Venom 2015. I'm trying to think, was that my 10? Yeah. So I got 4 extra ones here. So the 4 extra ones I had was Arch Enemy, Blood in the Water from Will to Power 2017. And then Death Angel, River of Rapture from Relentless Retribution in 2010. And then I took one that I actually did a review on last week, Trauma, the River Red from The Awakening 2022. And then last but not least, I know we usually don't do a twofers in here, but I wanted to throw this one in there too. Was In This Moment, Lost at Sea, The Dream 2012. So I was trying to find something sea related to throw in there. So
hey, if they fit like I say, we try to avoid twofers, but I mean if they fit, they fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Just like if we do horror, we'll probably we could do a whole damn list of Ice Nine Kills, but
Yeah, you absolutely could. Yeah. Well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing you had those extras, and I got a couple because we had we surprisingly had more overlaps than I thought we would. I was expecting some, but I didn't realize we'd have so many. But I mean, that's fine.
Yeah,
definitely no harm done. Because, like I say, we can always discover stuff after the fact, so it's not a huge deal.
Yep.
All right, leading off, I had In Waves by Trivium off of In Waves 2011. Then I also had Drag the Waters by Pantera. I also had Blood in the Water by Flotsam and Jetsam. I also had Blood in the Water by Arch Enemy. I also had Bad Water by Ginger.
Oh, wow. So what's so funny about that is it's not the one, like a couple of them were, but like I still figured you would have had River of Fire and another one in there.
Yeah.
I would definitely figure Flotsam and Jetsam and Pantera. I said we'll probably overlap, but
yeah.
Which I didn't think Ginger or well.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that you went with the Arch Enemy Blood in the Water, but
I did on both. Like I was like, man, it's like I couldn't remember the Arch Enemy very well, so I listened to it again, and I was like, oh man, that's a great fucking song.
It's fantastic. Yeah. All right, and then I went with Black River's Flow from Lazarus AD off of the album of the same name from 2011. Then I went with Race to the Sea by Sabaton off the War to End All Wars from this year. Then I went with Into the Water by Death Clock off the Death album from 2007. And then I cheated a little bit. I went with Trapped Under Ice, because ice is frozen water, by Metallica off Ride the Lightning from 1984. And then I went with Waterloo by Iced Earth off the Glorious Burden from 2004. And then my two extras that I had, I went with Neptune's Spear by Testament off Brotherhood of the Snake from 2016. And if you don't know, Neptune is the Roman god of the sea. So, it works. And then I went with In This River by Black Label Society. And I actually went
with that one too. And I was like,
I know it's a slow song, but I mean, I've got nothing against Ballad.
And it's a tribute to Dimebag. So
actually, I was just about to say that I learned something about that song. That song wasn't originally written as a tribute.
Right, it wasn't originally. No,
it ended up, he wrote it before all that shit happened, and then basically once that happened, he dedicated the song to Dime. Exactly. So I actually had the timeline skewed. I actually thought he wrote it for Dime after the shooting, but that actually wasn't.
He actually walked through that whole thing at the Sonic Temple Festival, because I didn't know that either until then.
Yeah,
and then he was saying, I actually dedicated this song. This it was written before Dimebag passed away. So.
Yeah.
So, which either way is still, it's still cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's associated. So.
Right. Yeah. Yep. So I had the timeline cleared up for me. So, but so I will make sure that I will not leave this computer until after the show, until I get the playlist compiled, and then we'll try to get it.
Yeah, I'll try to do mine this evening. So
yeah, so we'll try to make sure we get it posted to the Facebook group sooner than Wednesday this week. So
yeah,
the last 2 weeks, Jason has had to text me like, "Were you gonna do the playlist?" I've been like, "Fuck."
Yeah. Well, it's so funny. Like this week, I said, I just put playlist ? And he says, "Oh, I don't know." He said, "Let me think about it." And I'm like, "No, dude." I said the playlist from last week.
Right.
Oh yeah. Okay. My bad.
Yeah. I had completely fucking forgot.
he said, "Oh shit, I did forget that." So,
Yeah, I did totally.
yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, because it got to Wednesday, and I thought he was talking about what the playlist
right.
topic was going to be for today, and he's like, "No, last week." I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Hang on."
Well, I was going through my playlist for the weekly playlist, and I said, "Well, I'd like to have that on there before I do the weekly playlist." So,
Hmm.
so we're not.
Well, I mean, that makes total sense.
Was that all
Makes,
of the ones you? Was that all the songs you
yep,
had? Or?
yep, that
Okay,
was it.
all right. I'm sorry, we got sidetracked there, and I was like, man, I don't remember if I interrupted you or not. So,
Yeah, no, you hadn't. You hadn't. I
so,
got
so
I got
next,
to I got to the end and we started talking about the In This
yeah.
River.
So next week, I want to do it over suicide awareness, mainly because September is Suicide Awareness Month. I know we've probably done this before, but you know, it's still something that needs to be touched upon. So
Yeah, it's a good cause.
and actually another thing that got me on this was I was at Blue Ridge Rock Festival, and there was a tent there for To Write Love on Her Arms, and that's what they do. Their mission is a nonprofit movement dedicated to presenting hope and finding help for people struggling with depression, addiction, self injury, and suicide. Um, and they exist to encourage, inform, inspire, and also to invest directly into treatment and recovery. Um, they have a whole website here if you want to check them out. It's to write love on her arms which is kind of like twloha.com, which is the initials. But so yeah, if you want to check that out and make a they're a nonprofit. So if you want to make donations or anything like that, then definitely do so. So I thought it was pretty cool that they had that there. So we spent a little time in there talking to them too. So it was pretty interesting to find out what they were all about. Like I'd never heard of them before. So it's cool to have something out there that we can actually help promote. So
Yeah, so it's definitely a topic worth doing a top 10 about. I mean, it's we've done these every week for I can't even remember when we started this. I don't even remember if this was something we did as soon as we started the show or not. I think we may have went a little while before we started doing it. So I mean, I know we've been doing this probably for at least a good calendar year.
Yeah.
So, but as fun as these are, that's definitely a topic that needs to be addressed. So I mean, I think it's a good topic to do a top 10 on for sure. So
and we usually try to do something, if there's something within the month that speaks to us, then we try to definitely do a top top 10 topic about it. So
yeah,
unfortunately we know that we've lost a lot of musicians to suicide too. So
yeah,
so which is unfortunate, but see you, Myrna. Thanks for stopping in.
Hey, Myrna. Hey, before you go,
Yeah.
we were going to do this at the end of the show, but we understand. People have things to do. Myrna, we want to thank you live on the air for your donation to the fundraiser. I guess since I was going to save this thing in the show, but Myrna donated to our fundraiser here at the Metalheads Unite podcast. We have put together. We've put together a fundraiser for us to try to raise some money to make improvements to the show. And there's the actual link right there. It's GoFundMe, GoFund.me / all those letters and numbers. Or if you go to GoFundMe, you can search Metalheads Unite. You will find us there. The fundraiser is live. Like I said, we're trying to get some money together. If anyone feels like donating, to make some improvements to the show, kind of upgrade some of the equipment, maybe make some visual and audio changes, make some upgrades. And we do have some invitations to do a tour next year, to sponsor and cover a festival next year. Unfortunately, the tour is in Florida. The festival is in the Northeast somewhere. So for us to be able to travel and cover those events, hopefully live as they happen, we'll probably need a little bit of help to help us get there. And then once we're there, hopefully be able to, get some equipment to where we can broadcast and have the video and audio quality be up to snuff with how it'll need to be. So if anyone feels like donating, they can go to GoFundMe and they can follow the link. If you want to copy and paste that, if you're watching the podcast, and you can copy and paste that link. If you're just listening on radio.co or anywhere else where we're just audio only, you can go to gofundme.com and search for Metalheads Unite, and you will find us there. So thank you to Myrna for your donation. She actually was the first person to donate. So we are off and running finally. Took a little while to get going, which is understandable. But if anybody wants to donate, we would greatly appreciate that. And thank you to everybody in advance who decides to do that.
Yep. All right. I guess we can kick gears over into our album reviews.
Yes.
So this one's kind of interesting. Actually, let me do this. This is my official one, but I want to talk about this.
Excuse me.
This EP that I did. It was by a band called Anti-Clone, and the EP was Human. There's only like 4 tracks on here, so it's not like a really long listen. So, but they're kind of a new industrial metal band with a modern technical metal twist, and it was kind of like, I don't know, it was Marilyn Manson-y, Slipknot, Mudvayne, or kind of some of the bands that they're compared to. But it was kind of like a combination of those. It wasn't like anything, in particular from, one certain band. It was like a mix of those bands. And it was really like, you'd have to listen to it. It's really interesting. Like I had to listen to it a couple of times because I didn't really know how I felt about it. Like the first time I listened, I'm like, man, I don't really know how I feel about this. And then it's like, then I listened to it like the third time, and I'm like, dude, I really dig this shit. It's really, it's really different. And I mean, that's kind of like what we do. We're looking for different stuff. So, I mean, like I said, we're, by heart, we're thrash, metal fans. And then, of course, I'm more of the metalcore guy. And then Chris is more of the power metal guy. So, I mean, we have our other genres that we listen to primarily, but I mean, by heart, we're both thrash guys. So it's kind of like to get out of that zone and listen to something different that kind of attracts you is really, really good. I mean, to me anyway, 'cause I like to be more well-rounded with some of this stuff. It's just like none of it really, some of it doesn't pull me in like it should. Like, but this album really did. Like, I mean, it got me enough to make me listen to it 3 times. So it was like,
mission accomplished. Yeah.
Right. So it was really like I said, it was really different. It was, I really liked it. I mean, it was like, they've been on tour with like Skindred and, pretty other bigger bands, Head PE, so I mean, Mushroom Head, so I mean, they've been on tour with some pretty big guys, pretty big bands. So it's not like they're, they're a couple of nobodies, but I mean, but like I said, they're it was just an EP, so they've been around since 2011. So they've been around a little bit.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, so they've been around a little bit. So it says they're out of Boston, Lincolnshire. So they're from up in the Northeast too. So maybe it's a band that Sepsis may be familiar with. I'm not sure, but I know like they're real familiar with those bands up in that area. So
yeah, William gave us one hell of a list of
and I still haven't I still haven't went all the way through that. I went through some of it, but
I haven't either. I'm definitely not nearly as far into it as I should be, but I mean, there's only so many hours in the day, and like I say, we've got jobs, and then we got the show to get prepared for. So,
I do. I got it by my other laptop when I do the list, and I try to like listen to a few of those bands when I'm doing the list. So it's like I said, it's not, I don't go through 10 or 12 or nothing. So it's been a long, lengthy process, but I'm still like going through it. So of course, like he's got some of the bigger bands on there too, like Killswitch, which we already know, and I'm trying to go through bands I've never heard of. So
yeah.
But yeah, so definitely this band is definitely different. Which if you never heard Sepsis, they could relate to that because they're when I first heard them, I'm like, wow, this is definitely different than what we used to listen, what we're used to listening to, and it's and I think that's what's gotten them out there as much as they have is because of that. And, it's like people are like, wow, this shit's really good and it's really different. And I feel the same way about this anti-clone band. But
Yeah, I'll check it out.
yeah, their lineup is Peter Moore on vocals, Drew Moore on drums, Mike Bradbury on bass, Connor Richardson on guitar, and then Liam Richardson on guitar. So it's like a couple of family members thrown in there.
Nice.
So it's like a pair of family members. It seems like. It's what it seems like. I don't know. It didn't really. It may have said up in here somewhere. Yeah, fellow brothers, the Richardson brothers, and then
band of brothers.
fellow brothers, Peter and Drew Moore. So yeah, so it's band of brothers for sure.
Band of brothers.
So it's pretty cool. Like I said, it's different. It's like it's definitely new industrial, but I also think it kind of like I don't know, borderlines a lot of vocally metalcore maybe. Excuse me, because it has a lot of the screams and cleans in there. So
it's got some diversity to it.
Yeah, it definitely has some diversity to it, and I think that's what kind of got me didn't know what to think about it at first. I'm kind of like, oh, this is way different than what I'm used to listening to. So I don't, and I didn't want to go in here and unfairly judge it. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to give it a couple of more listens. And like I said, about the third time I listened to it, I'm like, man, I really do dig this. The first time I'm like, oh, it's not too bad. But I was like, I want to listen to it. I want to listen to it again. Then by the second time I listened to it, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to listen to it one more time. so about third
more time.
Yeah. So one more time. Yeah. But yeah, so they do have a, oh, let me see here. They do have a, looks like a couple of albums. Well, they have a 5-track EP. Looks like another 5-track EP hand sewn together from 13. And then they had a full-length album, The Root of Man, in 2016.
Okay.
So they have gotten a couple other products out there to listen to. I may actually go back and check out the full-length album just to see if that's a sound that they've just kind of stayed with, or if it's like
a new direction.
Yeah, or if it's like a new direction, or if it's actually just been kind of incorporated different sounds over time. So
I gotcha.
So yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind checking out. So I mean, I would definitely give this a 4 horn for an EP. So definitely worth checking out.
Nice.
Where did I go here? Sorry. There. I had so many windows pulled up here.
Oh, okay.
But my actual release was from a band called Cinery, and the album was Black Bile. So that's probably not a very good image, but
not particularly, but it happens,
So this is interesting. So I may try to get this band on too, just because of where they're from. I don't think we've talked to anybody from Israel yet. So they're from Tel Aviv, Israel.
No, we have not.
And they've been around since 2012, so they've been around a little bit. Of course, they're a thrash metal band. So I did not know that when I first dug into the album. But of course, when I listened to the first couple of songs, I said, "Yeah, this has got to be thrash." So they are classified as thrash. So this is their second full-length album. They had one other full-length album, A Feast of Fools, in 2016, and then of course they had the Black Bile this year. So there were a few years in between the albums, but it's all good. Current members are, and I'm probably going to kill these names, and I apologize, but Aidan Kringle guitars, Alon Carneely guitars and vocals, Sar Tuvi bass, and Matan Mandelbaum on drums. Hopefully I didn't butcher them too bad, but
yeah.
Like I said, this is the band's second full-length album. This one's 10 songs, 49 minutes, 8 seconds. So, fairly decent listen.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely entails every aspect of thrash that we know. Speedy guitars, fast-paced drumming, and of course thrashy screams and gutturals throughout. So, kind of a good mix of that too vocally. So, I think it was very well done overall. There was a song called "Hang from the Sun" that had a slow, dark lead in, and then picked up into chorus, and then slowed back down into that dark, slow dark. So it was kind of a interesting switch up in the middle of the album there. So I thought that was really good. Like I said, there's a lot to like about it. Especially if you're a thrash guy, you probably enjoy this. I'm sure you will probably like that, Chris. If you want to check
Yeah,
that out,
I probably will.
and I'm going to give this one 4 horns as well. It's a really, really good album. I liked it. So
Nice. Well, I didn't have as much luck this week as I had last week, so I was only able to get to the one. I was only able to get to the one that I was quote unquote obligated to do. Of course, it's not an obligation, but
right,
yeah, not an obligation at all. I went with the new album "King of the North" by Wolfheart. They are a melodic death metal band formed in Lahti, Finland in 2013. Their lyrical themes include winter, nature, apocalypse, wolves, warriors, bloodshed, battle, and melancholy. They are a four-piece. Their lineup currently consists of Tuomas Saukkonen on bass. Let's see, he's currently on bass. They got this all over the place here. Bass. He was the drummer from 13 to 14. Vocals and guitars from 2013 to present. Then you have Lori Silvanen, who is also listed as being on bass. He's the backing vocalist. You have Eunice Kaupinen on drums, and then you have Vigelis Karzis on lead guitars. He does the clean vocals. So as you can kind of see, this is where this is kind of going. This is their sixth full-length studio album. Their first album, Winterborn, came out in 2013. Shadow World came out in 2015. Tygus came out in 2017. Constellation of the Black Light in 2018. Wolves of Karelia in 2020, and King of the North yesterday. King of the North is 9 tracks long, 48 minutes and 30 seconds. So, not the longest listen I've ever had to deal with, but not the shortest by far. I know we mentioned diversity on here a lot. You don't want to listen to the same shit, sound the same over and over and over. And I know we've talked about before how Jason and I, we're not really like death metal guys per se, but what I've always liked about melodic death metal is the diversity of it. Especially like with this, because like I know my review last week was a death metal band, and I talked about how they were that band had probably some of the cleanest gutturals I've ever heard, even though it's death metal all the way through. You got the guttural vocals throughout. What I liked about this band, even though they're a melodic death metal band, is you do get the diversity. You've got guttural vocals, you've got a backing vocalist, and you've also got a clean vocalist on this one. Kind of like what Arch Enemy is starting to do with Alyssa White. Arch Enemy, they were completely guttural vocals all the way through up until Alyssa got there, and now they're slowly starting to incorporate a little bit of her clean singing like she did when she was in The Agonist. So you're starting to get a little bit more of that diversity with Arch Enemy. Now,
which not to get off your subject here, but you brought that up, and I was reading where what's his name? Michael.
Michael, yeah. You read that story too?
Yeah, he was actually talking about how he didn't care for cleans in there, and I'm like, you do know that's kind of where y'all are going, right?
Yeah. Well, I kind of thought that was ironic too, because they're slowly starting to sprinkle them in, and they hadn't done that before. And then I saw the headline too, and then when I read the story, he was saying he's not a fan of clean vocals just for them being clean. He likes for them to be he likes for them to be functional in the context of a particular song.
Gotcha. Okay.
So when I read right. So when I read the story, it made more sense, because I had the same kind of reaction you did. I was like, well, how the hell are you going to start adding clean vocals to your music, but you're not a fan of the clean vocals? So, but he likes for the clean vocals to be functional as a harmony in the song. So it made sense in the context of the story the way he put it.
Yeah,
But
I'm glad you read it because I had meant to because I was thinking the same thing. I said I'm sure this is way out of context.
right,
What
and yeah,
the story is.
right, the headline does make it weird considering what they've started to do. But I liked this because with this being death metal, but having the melodic part to it, you still had some symphonic elements in there. You even had some power metal elements with some of the guitar harmonies and melodies, and then you had the mix of the clean vocals, you had the guttural vocals with some backing, and then at one point there was a piano part with gutturals over it. So I mean, you want to talk about diversity there. Yeah, there was there was all sorts of diversity in there, and even some of the guitar solos had a little bit of maybe like some thrash influence to them. So I mean, this wasn't such a straightforward melodic death metal album, kind of, as far as like some of the ones I've listened to in the past. So I thought the complexity, or just not to beat a dead horse using the word, just the diversity of the composition. I really liked where they went with it. I am going to give this 3 out of 5, 3 horns out of 5. I did like it.
Didn't love it.
I didn't love it, but I did like it. I liked a lot of the things they did with it. So this may be one of those melodic death metal bands I keep an eye on moving forward. But yeah, anyone who is into the melodic death metal, I think would like it. I don't know if any of the fans of like just the regular doom metal or the blackened death metal, I don't know if that would really be right up their alley. Don't want to speak for anybody, but I don't think it would probably be as extreme as some of those fans would like it to be. But
right.
But
it's not like or anything like that.
So. Right, yeah. But yeah, I liked it. And I think it would be worth a listen for anybody who's into the melodic death metal, for sure.
Cool. All right. So what's that list look like for next week?
Long. it looks long, but that's a good thing, because that gives us a lot more options, and options are good. So for September 23rd, leading off, we have Abhor with Sex, Sex, Sex. I wonder what that album's about. Yeah. Then we have Algebra with Chiroptera. We have As Paradise Falls with Madness and Medicine. That is an EP. We have Ataraxia with Pomegranate, the Chant of the Elementals. We have Atronos with Fade. We have Banco del Mutuo Soccorso with Orlando Le Forme dell'Amore. Band of Spice with How We Play the Game. It's all about the game and how you play it.
That's right.
Black Grail with 8. That is an EP. We have Blood Scam with Ave Eva. We have Celestial Grave with Vitriolic Atonement. We have Sinis with Lies That Comfort Me. We have Condemned AD. We got another AD band. Condemned AD with Follow a Failing Leader. Isn't that kind of what we're doing in the U.S. right now? Anyway, we have Crone with Got a Light. We have Destroy My Brains with Tormented. We have Dio with Dio at Donington, 83 and 87. Obviously, that's nothing. That's not a new album.
Right.
We have Drabik with Mannequin. We have Drenalize with Edge of Tomorrow. Entombed with Morning Star. That is a re-release. Internal Closure with At the Center of It All, Chapter 1. Evermore with Court of the Tyrant King. Face the Day with Echoes of the Child's Mind. Fall of Carthage with Drawn into Madness. Frail with Skin and Sorrow. Freedom Hawk with Take All You Can. Frozen Factory with Of Pearls and Perils. Gaera with Mirage. Gematria with Gematria 2, The Spindle of Necessity. We have Nash with Scared Nightmares. That's an EP. Gut Void with Durance of Lightless Horizons. Okay, give me a second. Hey Dope. Oh, Jesus Christ, this one's fucking me up. Hey, I don't know how to fucking say this band name. Hey Do Pelagayo, I guess. With I know I just murdered that, so I'm really sorry. With Neradian Seismic End, I don't get held up that much very often.
Right.
Hail Conjurer with Earth Penetration, Harvest of Ash with Ache and Impulse, Invictus with Unstoppable, Jason Blake with The Compromise Rationale. We have Caledon with Legend of the Forgotten Rain, Chapter 7, Evil Awakens. We have a self-titled EP. We have Catharia with To Be Shunned by All as Centers of Pestilence. We have Ken Mode with Null. Kid Capici with Here's What You Could Have Won. We have King Legba and the Loas with Shine a Light. That's an EP. We have Kings of Mercia with a self-titled album. We have Last Wretch with Sadism and Severed Heads. We have Live Burial with Curse of the Forlorn. We have Living Wreckage with a self-titled album. Lost Hours with For the Silence of the Perpetual Choir in Heaven. Then we have Lutum with Irrational Numbers. Meridian with The Fourth Dimension. Mind Divide with Fragments, Mindless Hope with Mental Truancy, Miscreants with Convergence, Moonspell with From Down Below, Live 80 Meters Deep, Motorhead with Iron Fist, the 40th Anniversary Edition, and I think we actually talked about that coming out either last week or the week before. Then we have Nordjevel with Knave Hall, Orthodoxy with Ater Ignis, Otus with Torch, Ovo with Ignoto, Pale Sketcher with Golden Skin, Pet Brick with Liminal. We have Proceed on Your Own Way to Oblivion with Ceramorphosis. We have Perpendicular with Human Mechanic. Putrescine and Cosmogear with Desolate Tides. That's a split album. We have Razor with Cycle of Contempt. We have Skeletro with Un Feto, Schiacciato, Senza Tre Falangi. I think that might be Italian. Scream Taker with Kill the Beautiful, Seventh Servant with the Tree of Life, Silent Night with Full Force, Slaughter Day with Tyrants of Doom, Solitude Eternus with Into the Depths of Sorrow, Beyond the Crimson Horizon re-release, Sanja with Loud Arriver, Space of Variations with Imago, Spellbook with Deadly Charms, Spheres with Helios, Stone Nobles with The Rider, that is an EP, Stradivarius with Survive, that one will be one I might check out, Strom with a self-titled album, Talus with 1985, Tribal Gaze with The Nine Choirs, Tyson Matzenbacher with Milk Teeth, Unsane with a self-titled re-release, Upon Wings with Last Love, that is an EP, Venom Incorporated with There's Only Black, Virgil and Steve Howe with Lunar Mist, and last but certainly not least, we have Writhing with Of Earth and Flesh. So
yeah, that Venom Incorporated is going to be interesting too. Since
yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. So there are some interesting ones on the list this week, but definitely no shortage of options to choose from.
I will probably check out that Invictus as well.
Yeah, there are some names on here that kind of piqued my interest here. So
cool.
Yep. Thanks to Heavy Music HQ for that. So
yeah, right. We're not looking at 9 albums anymore. We're doing
right. Yeah, no, we are not.
Yeah, so it's all good. So
absolutely.
All right. I guess we can wrap this one up for this week. And
yep, that should do it.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed everything. A recap of a couple of shows, and then
I'll have a review of the
next
Slipknot next week of the Tuesday's Slipknot show. So
and I think it's the first time you'll see Ice Nine as well, right? So,
Yep.
Yeah,
first time to see Ice Nine Kills. Kayla and I are actually both looking forward to that.
Yeah, and actually looking forward to your impression of that, honestly. So
yeah,
I've seen them about 4 or 5 times now. So kind of, and actually, we were talking about on Sunday. She's like, "Hey, let's just watch these bands and leave because we can watch. We can just go and buy tickets to Ice Nine and Slipknot." And that's what she was just like. She was so fed up after Saturday at the festival. She was just like, "Yeah, let's just go. I'll buy tickets to Slipknot or something."
There you go.
But yeah, so it was. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that. So I hopefully they give you a good impression. Very theatrical, so I'm sure that'll be great for pretty good,
Well, I
especially
mean,
especially with them having a little more time than they probably did at Blue Ridge. So,
oh yeah, I don't doubt it. Well, the good thing is like, I'm definitely not going in to like Ice Nine Kills blind. I mean, I've heard,
right,
like, through you and through Kayla, I've heard, I'm sure I haven't heard all of their music, but I've heard quite a bit. So, I mean, it won't be like my first time ever hearing them, but it will be my first time seeing them. So there are songs that I do hope they play. And there are songs that Kayla hopes they plays too. So, I don't know what the set's going to look like, but I'm sure the performance is going to be pretty badass.
the shower scene is really really cool. So they actually do the whole shower scene thing there. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, or they did at Blue Ridge. So I'm pretty sure they'll wind up doing that since that's like their newest single. So, but yeah, he's definitely. And then that Retaliators movie is supposed to be coming out this week sometime too.
Oh, that's right.
They're all in. So
That's right.
So that'll be cool too. He's got Jacoby and Spencer Charnas and a couple other band members of other bands in there. So Tommy Lee's actually part of all that. So
Tommy Lee's penis is probably in it too. So
yeah,
he's probably like, "Hey, I'm here." It's like, whoa, all right, we get it.
Hey, that's not the boom mic. Get that out of here.
Be like ah.
That was reminded me of a wrestling story, but we won't go there right now.
Okay.
Oh man. But anyway, we will wrap this bad boy up because I know it's getting 3 hours in. So
yeah.
So,
3 hours in.
Which I figured we had to double up on some stuff. So then we spent the first 30, 45 minutes talking about festival and the Exodus and Testament and Death Angel show. So
yeah. Oh darn,
I know, right? Like, the nerve of us doing that.
I know, yeah. How dare we go to concerts? I know.
Man, like it's so crazy. Like we was talking about this the other day, and before we go, it was like we was talking about I buy these things. I'm like, oh, I want to go see that. I want to go see that. I want to go see that. And then I never like look at the dates really.
Right. I know. You just see the city and you're like, I gotta go.
Well, no, I'll see it and I'll say, oh, it's a Friday. That's all I see. It's like, oh, I'm off that day. So cool. And I'll just buy it. And then I go look and say, oh, yeah, it's a Friday 2 weeks after, or the week after Blue Ridge. Or and then we do, like I said, the Angeles Petrita shows 2 weeks from now. Of course, you're gonna have 3 shows in 3 weeks, or actually 4 shows in 4 weeks.
Yeah, we got the festival coming up. Yeah,
the Devastation Festival.
Yeah, we got the festival coming up.
So, so I'm kind of interested in that. It'd be cool if we could do something live from there, but I don't think we have permission to do that. So
I don't think we do. But I mean, we may be able. What we might be able to do is like we won't be able to set up like we did Slamming in the Sticks. But what we might be able to do is we may be able to kind of like record some interviews with some of the bands, we may be able to talk to like Eyes of the Living and stuff like, and record some stuff and like, put it out here for you guys, maybe after the fact, but I don't know how much live stuff we would be able to do, unfortunately.
Yeah. We're not going to be able to show you live footage of the Pits from Hell opening. So,
right. Yeah. So you guys will have to hear. You guys will have to hear all about the portals after the fact. So,
which is so crazy. Is one of the reasons why we're probably not is because they're doing a documentary on all this because of that. So, which is great for the bands that are there because they're going to get a little bit more exposure. So,
well, that is true. That's true.
So hopefully this becomes another thing to where this becomes like a 1-day festival they do every year. That would be pretty cool.
It would,
or even if he could do it twice a year, that'd be. Maybe one spring, one fall. That way it's not so hot,
Yeah, keep it away from the summer.
Yeah, right. So, especially if it's wide open and no shade. So,
which it looks like it does. It looks like it's completely out in the open.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because it's like right on the lake. So,
yeah.
All right, we'll wrap this bad boy up. We won't keep you guys no longer. Hope you guys enjoyed everything and. Appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for Myrna and William and Sepsis all in the chats today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to see everybody in here.
Yeah, appreciate the shares and everything.
Yep.
So yeah, like I said, you catch us on most of your sites, Twitch and Facebook and Twitter.
We've got the Metalheads Unite YouTube channel.
YouTube,
yeah, we got VOP USA. Yeah. I promise I will do something on TikTok. I still haven't had a chance to. all three of the kids, they work and we work, and it's hard to get everybody's schedules.
Catch them all time frame, yeah. So.
Yeah, and then so I'm gonna have one of them help me do the first one because I don't want to look like a complete jackass. So we are on TikTok, and so we're on TikTok. We have YouTube channel. We go out to all the streaming platforms. We're on VOPUSARadio.com, on the VOP USA Radio mobile app. We have the Metalheads Unite USA at Gmail email account if you want to send us any messages over there. Reminder about the fundraiser. Go over to GoFundMe, search for Metalheads Unite. We're real easy to find. We got the Metalheads Unite Facebook group. Look for the thumbnail up right there above Jason's head, and that'll be the thumbnail at Facebook, at YouTube, at Spotify, at GoFundMe. Yep, right there. We use the same thumbnail for everything, so we're easy to find.
Oh, my finger went in it.
Just good thing it didn't get stuck.
Oh man! All right, guys, we appreciate you stopping by, and hopefully we'll see you right back here next week. And until then, keep those devil horns held high and jump in that pit anytime you can.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week.